Fucking weird shit happened as soon as I hit the stop dancing thing. Fucking weird. Don't know what happened. I don't know if that came through either. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't go into the recording. Hello, Flim. Hello, Maverick. Hello, TK. Hello, Saucy Pup. I am here to play a ROM hack. Hello, Avalon. Thank you for dropping Giant Fuck Bowser. Would Giant Fuck Bowser please despawn? Thank you. But yeah, fucking I'm here to play Hero of Law. It's like what if Ace Attorney was in your Ocarina of Time? I set it to the widescreen setting because I can. I'm playing this on the Mr. Pi. We're going to see how well the Mr. Pi... Well, actually, we kind of did already see how well the Mr. Pi handled the N64 games. But we're going to see how well the Mr. Pi handles a ROM hack of an N64 game that hopefully can be played on the original hardware. Weren't there more grapes? No. It was just the same amount of grapes as there were yesterday. Oh god. It is now time to figure out whether or not I should be using the filter. Because for me, what looks good is when I put on the Trinitron filter on my end. Now, it doesn't look good on your end, and that's the problem. Like, the closest I can get it to really being really good is... I think that's fine on y'all's end, as long as I don't have the shadow mask. That way I can see... Well, yeah, I guess that works. No, I don't think they do. But yeah, I'm doing this on the N64 core, not the Turbo core. Which would be really nice to do it on the Turbo core. Also, I'm using my 8BitDo N64 controller that came in last week. It's so quiet. Do you think they forgot? Forgot a royal visitation? No one can make such a blunder, princess. For me, it kind of looks like a CRT. Well, I guess I should go in then. Oh my god. Malin has killed Talon. Oh my god. Why isn't there any blood on the hacksaw? March 17, 9:37 a.m. Hyrule Grand Court. Defended lobby number 3. Oh god, I can barely read the court record thing. Let's do some adjusting. Video. Yeah, a clean HDMI might help. You know what? Let's just do it completely clean. Looks so crunchy though when it's like that. Crunchy. Yeah, that's better when I have the texture filter to the original. Keep the anti-alias on. Then maybe look at video processing. Load the Sony Trinitron. Yeah, that looks better, even on y'all's end. You think that after doing this so many years of after so many years of doing this, I'd be used to the stress. So why am I shaking? Yeah, I guess it's a bit worse when your friend's life is on the line. Come on, gotta look professional. You can't see you like this. Wait, hold on. Speaking of her though, where is she anyway? Hey, you over there. Hold on, I want to press the record. Proof that I can stand in court as an attorney. My long friend and defendant in this case, Talon, deceased, the victim, owner of Lon Lon Ranch, and Malin's loving father. Is that the fucking light medallion? Yes, it is. Yes, I did refund a bunch of points yesterday. Sigma update. Oh, she's up on the windowsill staring outside. Hey, you over there. Huh? What is it, attorney? The trial isn't starting yet. But it will soon, right? Would you happen to know why my client isn't here yet? I didn't get to speak with her when she was arrested, so I was hoping I can at least exchange a word with her now. Well, you weren't the only one with that idea. I believe she's currently in prosecutor's lobby. He wanted to talk to her as well. What? What's up with this guy? He bars me from the crime scene, blocks my detention center visits, and now this? Not to worry, she'll definitely be here before the trial. Great, that'll be the joyous 5 minutes indeed. There's nothing I can do but wait. Sometime later. Okay, this is ridiculous. How much longer can he keep her? Ah, see? There she is. No need to get all worked up. Is something wrong? Did I hear shouting? So much for looking professional. No, don't worry. Everything's fine. This is Malin. Ever since we met at Hyrule Castletown all those years ago, we've been great friends. Her heart's in the right place. I know she cared deeply about her father. Everything's fine. Why do you look so worried? What? Well, how did the investigation go? Did you find anything? Yes, the investigation. I found tons of groundbreaking stuff. Particularly that my opponent's a real scumbag. What did the prosecutor want from you anyway? Well, it was mostly just threats. He kept explaining in detail what happened to me if I found guilty. Doesn't sound like a vital discussion that needed to happen right before the trial. He probably just did that so we wouldn't have much time to talk. You believe in me, right? I didn't do it. I never. Of course I believe in you. Although I'll be honest, things aren't looking very good right now. What's that you got there? Oh, this is just a photograph of father I carry around. I can't believe he's gone. Wow, look at Ingo looking menacing. Look at Luigi going to stab Mario in the back. I wish I knew how to cheer her up right now. I'm not very good at handling emotional clients. Hey, you know, the pictograph could be really useful for the trial. Oh, how so? Well, you look so happy together. I can present it to show that you two had a great relationship. You really think so? Well, here you go then. Malin's photograph has been added to the court record. At least I'll be walking in there with something other than my badge. But wait, shouldn't we be idling chatting? We shouldn't be idly chatting. Anyways, there's not much time left. I know it's hard to talk, but could you tell me exactly what happened? I don't stand much a chance if I don't know your version of the story. I understand. Unfortunately, there really isn't much to... Trial is starting. Defendant attorney, please enter the courtroom at once. Uh-oh. Shouldn't have said the stuff about having no chance. Alright, everything will be fine. The prosecutor's been playing me for fool since this began, but sooner or later his arrogance will be his undoing. Let's head inside. My name is Link. I've been a defense attorney for the last 7 years. I've won my fair share of cases and some lost some too, but this one is personal. There's so much at stake here. Not only do I have to save Malon's life, I gotta find out who did this to Talon. Talon, he was always so kind. He didn't deserve this. I need to do him justice. I can't lose this. Wow. Gorons. Court is now in session for the trial of Malon of Lon Lon Ranch. The defense is ready, Your Honor. They used the you. I sincerely doubt that. What would they think pitting me against some pathetic kid? Pathetic kid? What gives you the right to? Still your tongue. You bring shame upon the fine color of your hair, vile woman. Face off? Why didn't face off work? God. Why is it that... You know what? I bet you I know why. Ah, I get it. I know why. There you go. Not a scam if I fix it. Before long, the world shall know I know the horrible deeds you committed. Let's not prolong the inevitable. Shall we begin? No, this court is no place to be exchanging insults. Since the prosecution seemed ready as well, let's hear their opening statement. The opening statement shall be the closing one. The girl did it, it's obvious. She killed her own father in cold blood. Also, she could have the ranch to herself. Couldn't wait for the old fool to die naturally, could you? You greedy little rat. Objection! Your Honor, you can't allow this man to verbally abuse the defendant like this. She committed murder, kid. You deserve every bit of scorn she gets. I do believe a little less commentary wouldn't go amiss. But I assure you, old man, you will change your opinion once you see all the damning evidence. Who is this guy? How can he speak to a judge like that? Ganondorf Dragmire. Looks like I've been lucky to avoid meeting this man until now. The stories I've heard about him must be true. A boorish barbarian of a man hailing from the Gerudo province. Apparently, he prides himself on the nearly clean streak he's cultivated for decades, all while disrespecting everyone in the court, including the judges. I even heard some attorneys refer to him as the King of Evil. Definitely has the look, at very least. Who wears full armor to court? Very well, present your case to the court. You don't seem to like me talking, so I'll get to the detective. I'll let the detective present the basics. Bring Impa of the Sheikah Forest to the stand. Well, here we go, the first battle. I know Impa, she's quite a competent detective. Which worries me. Please let her have made a mistake just this once. I know I can't, you might not be able to tell, but there's sweat marks. Alright, state your name and whatever it is you pretend to do. You never change, do you, prosecutor? Any possible change would be for the worse. Stop wasting time. Name and occupation. Oh, man. Very well. I am Impa, head detective of the Sheikah Forest, Homicide Division. True for now, at least. Well, what are you waiting for? Start talking. You were the one assigned to this case, so you know all about it. What calamity has befallen their
did you know
king?
the same voice actress that voiced young Link in Ocarina of Time also did the Japanese voice of Bobby Hill?
No, I did not know that. I know that, like, the Japanese voice for Link in Ocarina of Time also did, like, Erdrick in, like, Smash Brothers. I know that one. Still can't be bothered to give a proper opening statement. I suppose I can do the prosecutor's job for him this time for the sake of an unbiased look. Please go ahead, detective. The incident happened early yesterday morning on Lon Lon Ranch, a local supplier of goods located just south of Castletown. The current owner of the homestead, Talon, was found dead in his ranch house. A tragic loss for our kingdom for sure. I haven't seen the man around Castletown numerous times delivering goods. Quite, the owner was a rather important figure in the local community. In any case, we were alerted to seeing the murder by the Royal Guard, who was there on official business. Official business? What kind? As I understand, the ranch provides the kingdom with vital services. To ensure it's operating as it should, in a gesture of appreciation, the Crown ordered a visitation to the ranch every year. I see. Schedule annual visit. Continue, detective. When the Sheikah force arrived, they found the victim bleeding out on the floor. Next to him lay his daughter, Malin, breathing but unresponsive. After a thorough investigation, we arrested her as she was deemed the only possible culprit. That about covers the gist of what happened. Very nice and succinct. Keep that up and perhaps you'll keep your job. Oh, I don't think the good detective here has to worry that much about that, given she's the head of the department. Which reminds me, why is the head of detective herself on the case like this? Were the other detectives unavailable? That would be because I have been assigned to this case by the order of the King of Hyrule himself. The King himself assigned you? That doesn't happen very often, does it? You're correct, Honor. I am not usually involved in field work like this. This time, however, the King felt it necessary because of who is involved. Who is involved? Is the death of a ranch worker really such a concern for the king? Well, as I said, Lon Lon Ranch is a very important supplier of goods, to be sure. But that's not who I meant. I imagine the king wanted the top investigators on this job because it was the royal princess herself who discovered the crime scene. Rabble, 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 rabble. Order! I will have order! The royal Princess Zelda witnessed the crime. Ha! And there you have it. This case writes on the princess's own words. To doubt it would be to doubt your own royalty. This is bad. I can't really object to that. Very well. If the princess is testifying today, it would be better we don't make her needlessly wait. Detective, please testify about exactly why the defendant was arrested. Witness testimony. Reason for the arrest. With great regret, I agree with Dragmire. All the evidence points towards this girl being the culprit. We determined that the murder definitely took place inside the ranch house. There were only 3 people on the ranch: the victim, the defendant, and a worker who had an alibi for the time of the crime. The defendant was found unconscious right in front of the victim, who was bleeding out on the floor. Furthermore, she was holding a weapon. Without a doubt, that's what was used to kill the victim. She seemed such a bright girl. Most unfortunate. Your Honor, I would like to submit these pieces of evidence to the court. First, I have an autopsy report performed by the Crown top coroner. Here is what we determined to be the murder weapon, which we took from the defendant's hands. To make sure we had the correct weapon, we conducted a very thorough investigation. Naturally, we searched everyone and thoroughly examined the ranch in its vicinity. Nothing unusual was found, but to be safe, we also checked the ranch's inventory list to see whether anything was missing. The list matches the items we found on the ranch exactly, but nothing but the saw had fresh blood on it. That does sound kind of compelling. This must have been a truly terrifying scene. Dying from a wound made by a weapon like that, this is extremely painful. This only helps prove the defendant's viciousness. At this rate, they're gonna be Malin as some heartless monster. There's only one more thing I should have mentioned for the sake of completeness. Shortly after we arrived at Rance, a courier showed up to take some milk shipment. Of course, business must go on. Is that really necessary to enter into evidence, though? The shipments did end up leaving the ranch, so I feel like bears mentioning. Were the contents checked before you let them go? Naturally, who do you take us for? Even though the worker handling the shipments did quite worked up about it, we cracked all the boxes to check what was inside. In the end, it did turn out to only be milk bottles, so we let them through. Very well. Thank you for your thoroughness, detective. Milk shipment. So, what happens now? Well, this is where I step in and perform a cross-examination. Ah, great. How does that work? Huh? Could you explain what you're going to be doing? And we'll go over this again. Sure, why not? The witness will repeat her testimony. I'll be able to scroll back and forth through an individual statement by pressing A and B or with that and that. Wow, they just repeat as many times as you want? That's right. I have considered every little detail. Can't miss a thing. If I wanted more info about something, I can use L or Z to press a statement and ask a witness a question. Grill them for info. Yep. Since the witness has come up with an answer on the spot, if they're lying, prompting for more info can make them slip up. More importantly, though, if I find something that doesn't line up with the evidence, I can press R to bring up the court record. The court record is based on a list of all the evidence, right? Yes. I can open it anytime I need to recheck the facts. After choosing conjecture, I press up to raise the objection and present my doubts to the court. Oh, and I can only not present evidence, but profiles as well. Profiles? The court record contains a list of all people involved, too. I can switch between evidence and profiles with R. If I need to review what's been said recently, I can press start to see history of messages. Ah, I see. That makes sense. Is the defense done whispering? Sorry. He's so upset about it. Why does he just press the right to skip ahead? The defense is ready to cross-examine the witness. Bah! A waste of time. I sincerely hope you're not implying that the standard court procedure is a waste of time, Mr. Dragmire. In any case, we're ready. Defense, please begin the cross-examination. The reason for the arrest. Let me just double-check this. Photo. Deep irregular wounds made with a sharp metal object. Victim died from blood loss no later than 8 a.m. Saw a supposed murder weapon found in Madeline's hands, clean of blood. Ranch list of equipment. Wow, okay. We got March 15th, Ingo. 4 rakes, 4 garden hose, 8 buckets, 2 hammers, 6 knives, a wood saw. 8 saddles, 28 horseshoes, 3 axes, 2 brooms, 5 shovels. Oh wait, I can't see the other part. Cow nose. And some milk. And for profiles, we got judge, a jolly old man who presides over some of my cases. Prosecute, age 59. How is he 59? Rude to others, easily angered. Input 34.
No!
All evidence points to gold. We'll just get the hold of it. What makes you think she's the culprit? Objection! She's just about to tell you! Keep quiet and listen! Oh, right, sorry. Indeed, as I was just saying. Whoops. We determined that the murder definitely took place inside the ranch house. What the fuck is going on? We're playing Ace Attorney, but Zelda. And just how did you do that? It's quite simple. There was no blood found anywhere else. Had the victim been attacked with some other location, we expect the trail to lead to the scene. Couldn't that killer just clean it all up? Certainly not. The path to the ranch house at Long Island Ranch is not paved in any way. Cleaning blood off the ground would require disturbing the soil. Naturally, we found nothing of the sort. There wouldn't have been enough time to pull that off anyway. Likely true. Right, it sounds like location of the crime is pretty firm. I'm not getting up just yet. The victim was only three people on the ranch. The victim, the defendant, and the worker had an alibi for the time of the crime. 3 people, you say? Guess I would have to be Mr. Ingo. Let me stop you before you start getting too excited. If you had listened to the rest of the detective said, you'd notice she mentioned an alibi. Indeed, we're pretty certain that the ranch worker couldn't have been involved. Well, what is this alibi then? You might remember that I brought up some outgoing milk shipments? Well, the worker, Ingo, was in charge of them. He left the ranch house first thing in the morning and was busy preparing the shipment after that. Is that so? Surely he could have gotten away from that far really quick with a little murder. One little murder. This wouldn't be a quick little murder if you so crudely put it. He had to be taking steps to hide his involvement too. There was definitely not enough time for that. Unfortunately, I agree. Preparing a shipment is a lot of work. You have to milk all the cows, clean all the bottles, pour the milk out in them, arrange them all in crates, and finally load it all up in a wagon. Usually I had to do it together with Father to finish before the courier arrived. The shipment was already ready when we arrived at the ranch. When we checked the boxes, they were already fully loaded with filled milk bottles. But this Ingo was able to do all the work of 2 people on his own. Is that a bit odd? Odd or not, he evidently did just that. Clearly he's a man dedicated to his job. Or perhaps the girl and his father are just very inefficient. This whole thing seems awfully suspicious if you ask me, but I guess I have nothing to dispute it with. Bennett was found unconscious right in front of her, who was bleeding out on the floor. She's obviously lying. What the fuck? Malin fainted? Correct. We couldn't get her to wake up for a long time. Eventually, we decided to administer a healing failure should she be questioned. I guess finding the body was just that much of a shock, huh? Probably just pretending, trying to make it look like she merely found the body. In any event, without further ado, she held a weapon, without a doubt. That's what was used to kill the victim. And how can you be sure of that? Look at the autopsy report. Deep, irregular wound made with a sharp metal object. The saw was the only sharp implement in the ranch house that could produce such a wound. And, I've already mentioned, we also looked closely at all the other sharp things at the ranch. None had recent blood on them. That still doesn't necessarily mean the saw was the murder weapon. Maybe the real culprit had hid the real one. Oh yeah? Prove it then. Show us the real murder weapon. Well, I definitely don't have any way to do that. Still, something bothers me about that saw. So, do you have nothing? Oh, I've skipped. She seemed like such a bright girl. It's most unfortunate. She sure is. We've known each other for years. Yes, she murdered her father in cold blood. How curious. Perhaps you're just bad judge of character, both of you. No way. Just give me some time and I'm gonna prove it. You see anything wrong yet? Well, usually it's difficult to find anything wrong with the basic facts of the case. That said, I do think I saw one small thing. Really? That's great. It sure is, because I gotta poke all the holes I can find before the princess gets here. Oh, if it tells me I've pressed. So, I can use this. Huh? This seems like a fairly large oversight. I just want to make sure of something. The state of the soil is currently how you found it in the crime scene? That's correct. That's strange. Considering how much the victim bled out and how deep his wound was. Why was there no blood on the supposed murder weapon? Oh, is that all you have? Huh? Naturally, the prosecutor had an explanation for why the saw is clean. Behold, this cloth was found in the defendant's other hand. As you can plainly see, it's stained with blood. The defendant simply wiped the murder weapon and futilely hide her involvement. Objection! Melon was trying to hide her involvement. Why didn't she just leave the crime scene? Obviously, she was trying to hide the body before the royal visitation arrived at the ranch. Unfortunately for her, it just so happened the delegation arrived quite a bit earlier than scheduled. In a panic, she quickly wiped the saw off and pretended to faint to make it look like she stumbled upon the scene. Ugh. Young lady, things are not looking very good for you right now. The court accepts the bloody cloth into evidence. So, what's the story of this cloth? Well, as I was doing a final check around the ranch, I noticed that part of the fence was around the horse padlock was damaged. Not entirely sure what happened, but sometimes one of the horses just gets a bit too rowdy, you know? Right. Anyway, I didn't want to bother Mr. Ingo about it, so I tried to cut a new rail by myself to patch it up. But the saw slipped and I cut my hand open. Oh my goodness, are you okay? Well, it wasn't that bad. It did bleed quite a lot though, so I used that cloth to quickly bandage the wound. I was actually going into the ranch house to ask Father to help me with the fence. A likely story. And impossible to verify now, of course. The Sheikah Force had to use a fairy on the defendant to get out of the supposed unconsciousness. I do have to give her some credit. She's one cunning woman. She knew that would explain the sudden lack of any wound on her hand. Oh, why yes, fairies are wonderful. Just the other day, I slammed my hand with a gavel and took the pain off immediately. Right, glad to know they use for such important things. But dang it, too bad there's no way to tell whose blood is on the cloth. We don't have DNA testing in Hyrule. I do believe this matter has been settled. I'm ready to call my next witness. Uh-oh, is that all I can get out of her? You've served your purpose, Sheikah. Be gone! Fine, but you better treat Her Highness with respect or I'll see to it that you spend the night in the dungeon. Do not pursue to threaten me, Sheikah. A night of darkness and solitude would be nothing but comfort for me. Is that so? Perhaps we should fill the dungeons with lit candles for the occasion. They're glaring daggers at each other. If this doesn't end soon, we're all in trouble. Order, order. I'm sure we'll have to treat the princess with the utmost respect. You may step down now, detective. This case has already made me weary of all the pointless jabber. The time is ripe to deal the final blow. I call Her Highness Princess Zelda of Hyrule to the stand. Is something the matter? Why is everyone quiet all of a sudden? Your Highness! I believe we're all just a bit uncertain on how to proceed. It's quite the honor to have such an esteemed guest in these halls. In the face of the law, the princess is no different from a peasant. Name and occupation, now! The prosecution will behave. I will not have any derogatory statements directed at the princess. Derogatory? I simply wish not to waste any more time. We must employ proper procedure. Oh, man. All right, detective. I believe the prosecution does have a point. In the eyes of the law, we're all equals. On the stand, I am just another witness. I should not be getting any special treatment. Very admirable, Your Highness. We can all rest easy knowing that Hyrule is destined to have such a wise monarch in its future. Yes, indeed. I eagerly await the day when our next ruler takes the throne and reshapes the kingdom in their image. You flatter me, prosecutor. Now then, I believe I was asked my name and occupation. I am Zelda, current princess of Hyrule and an heir apparent to the throne. Marvelous, Your Highness. Before we begin, I would just like to know, why were you at the Lon Lon Ranch to witness this terrible incident? And to do it, pick up Wendy's. Yo, Wendy's? But actually, honestly, the last few times I've gone to Wendy's, there hasn't been anything really good on the menu. Like, outside of just like their standard burgers and chicken. Oh, it's simple, really. Longline Ranch is Hyrule Castle Town's biggest food supplier. Not only that, but the ranch also equips Hyrule's royal guards with the finest of horses. Every year, the royal family makes a visit as a gesture of goodwill and to ensure the quality of the steeds. Wow, I didn't know your horses were used by the royal guards. Yep. We work hard every year to make sure they're in the best possible condition. I'd love to boast about it to the other ranch owners. Knowing Talon, I'm sure he did. We're fortunate that the ranch may no longer meet the crowd's high standards under new management. The royal family has backup, I trust. We're looking for one. Naturally, those standards are quite high. Yes, of course. Now then, please describe what you saw on the day of the incident. Very well. Here I go. Burr, 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 burr. Witness testimony. The scene behind the door. I arrived in Longline Ranch a little after 8 a.m. accompanied by my loyal guards. What? Where's my Wendy's? Go buy it yourself. There's like 20 miles north of here. Go make the walk. I remember being surprised at how quiet everything was. There was nobody there to welcome us. I can sense something was wrong. I opened the door to the ranch house and went inside. The room was mostly empty. There was a table with some kind of crystal bottle on top of it. But in front of the table, a terrifying scene was unveiling. The defendant hacked at the ranch owner's chest with the saw she was holding. I was overcome with fear and I screamed. I'll never forget what I saw that day. I heard that Talon and his daughter were incredibly kind. I cannot believe she would commit such horrible violence. Wants us to starve. Like that Family Guy sketch with John Goodman. What? Oh my, you saw the very moment the victim was killed? There you go. Decisive testimony. As there was no need to doubt the princess's statement, I called for the judge to make a ruling right away. Hey now, hold on. I didn't get to cross-examine the witness yet. You haven't, fool, because there's no need. Did you not hear a word I said? Didn't you just say we should follow all the procedures and treat the princess like any other witness? This is the defense's right. You complete. I believe the defense has a point. They do have every right to perform a cross-examination no matter who is testifying. I was quite looking forward to this part myself. I've only ever read about court proceedings in the Royal Library. That being said, I will not tolerate any reckless accusations toward the princess. Is that clear? Naturally, Your Honor. How am I going to be able to cross-examine the princess? This is going to be well. Get into the prosecutor. He seems like a rather intense outburst. Well, I do have a guess. Oh? Because of the princess' status, it's possible that Dragmire didn't have an opportunity to discuss her testimony with her. That might mean that this testimony is a surprise even to him. This couldn't be my chance. Before we begin, there's just one thing that caught my attention. I believe the princess mentioned seeing some kind of glass bottle at the crime scene. That would be this, I presume. Why, yes, that's exactly it. What is it? Oh, that's the bottle of perfume that Father intended to gift Her Highness when she arrived. He quickly rode out of town to get it at the last moment. We didn't know about the princess coming instead of the king until only about 2 hours before the visitation. Oh, how thoughtful. He really didn't need to bother himself so. As fascinating as this all is, the prosecution doesn't believe it's relevant to the case. It's good to have a full picture of the crime scene. That defense requests the bottle be accepted into evidence. Bah. Despite desperate to latch onto every little thing, are you? Whatever. You can add it to the evidence if it make you happy. No skin off my teeth. In that case, the court accepts this bottle into evidence. Now then, defense, begin your cross-examination. A little after 8, accompanied by the guards. If those guards were with Her Highness, then why not call them as witnesses? We did christen the guards, naturally. Apparently, they didn't get to see anything relevant. I was the only one who entered the crime scene. After seeing what was inside, I stood guard and insisted no one be allowed inside until the Sheikah force arrived. I read that preserving the crime scene is vital. Right, correct. I'm sure the guards were absolutely thrilled with this order. Please proceed, witness. Have you conducted these royal visitations in the past, Your Highness? No, this is my first one. Up until last year, my father was always the one to visit Lon Lon Ranch. However, he decided he had to start preparing for all the royal duties await me, so I was to do it this time. You will no doubtlessly perform admirably as ruler when the time comes. What happens when you got to the ranch house? And what then? Stop interrupting and let her get to the point. Defense? I believe I was clear about not badgering the witness. Drat, I need to calm down. There was some kind of table with crystal bottle top on it. You paid attention to something like that after seeing a murder princess? Well, I spent around a long time in there waiting for the Sheikah police to arrive. Plus, that bottle was quite beautiful. It stood out. But in front of the table, a terrifying scene was around. The defendant hacked at the ranch's owner's chest with the saw she was holding. You were there at the exact time of the murder, Your Highness? That is correct. That's impossible. You're lying. The defendant will curb her outburst. You're addressing royalty. This is really bad. What now? Ask about the crime scene. Were the men defended at the... Where were the defendants as a victim of time? The ranch owner was in front of the little table that was directly across to the entrance door. The defendant was right in front of him and quickly fainted after her attack. A large pool of blood started forming where the victim was. I had a rather good view of the whole scene. Right. It's unfortunate as it is fortunate that you could see the whole thing in such detail. Now, please continue. Can I ask something else? What was outside? Are you sure there wasn't anyone else at the ranch, Your Highness? No, the place looked empty. Although I did later see a worker pull up a loaded wagon when a courier came out to ask him about milk shipments. It caused a little bit of a scene when the Sheikah force started inspecting it. That worker must have been somewhere else on the ranch, I suppose. The ranch is pretty large, so that worker was inside a building on the other side. It's quite understandable she wouldn't have seen him until later. Drat, that really doesn't give me a whole lot to work with. We'll just say no. I'm not going to accuse her of the crime just yet. Are you sure you got a good look then, Your Highness? You didn't look away in a panic. The princess was very brave to take control of the situation the way she did. There's no doubt what she saw. Yes, I suppose what she did was admirable. If only I had arrived earlier. Your Highness, don't blame yourself for this. If you arrived earlier, you could have been the one that got attacked. So you would have lashed out at anyone trying to stop you, huh? Despicable. That's not what she meant, and you know it. Princess, please go on. Cross your heart, Your Highness. You know Malin didn't do this. What's this nonsense? Her heart? What does her organs have to do with anything? Oh, of course. Evidence and testimony be damned. Just because we feel the defendant must be innocent. Oh, well, if you're sure, then I declare today's verdict. Have you got senile, old man? I was a joke, much like the arguments the defense has been presenting. I can't believe the princess will lie like this. Yeah, it's really shocking. You don't believe her, right? Even if she's the princess, that means nothing. I didn't do it. To trust authority or your best friend. I need something very concrete to prove what the princess said. Oh, I got an idea. Whoops. Because we do have this. have the autopsy report. Your Honor, Your Highness, I believe I found something that doesn't quite match up with the facts. How dare you question the princess that... You will let the defense speak, prosecutor. I think I see why you so desperately wanted to prevent this cross-examination now. Your Highness, you stated that you arrived at the ranch shortly after 8 a.m., correct? Yes, the visit was scheduled for 8:30 exactly, but we were quite a bit early. I see, that makes something mentioned quite impossible. As stated by the autopsy report, the victim definitely died before 8 a.m. You could have seen the defendant attack the ranch owner when you arrived, because the victim was already dead by then. Order, order. Yes, you really caught her in a lie. Your Highness, what is the meaning of this? While I much wholeheartedly respect and serve the crown, I nonetheless will not tolerate lies in my court. I have no lied, I just... Suppose I did not see the exact moment it happened. I guess I only thought I did. Princess, this is a matter of life and death. I definitely saw the defendant there, though, along with the body. There's no one else who could have done it. I remember all the other details correctly. The body is on the floor, the pool of blood. You have to believe me. Perhaps it'd be better if Her Highness revises her testimony. That's not good. There's still not enough doubt to overturn this testimony. I have to find something else, or this case will be over. What I actually saw. Yeah, saw. I'm sorry for embellishing the truth a little bit. I did not see the actual moment of the attack. But it had exactly shortly before I went into the ranch house. Miss Malin and her father were the only ones at the scene of the crime. She must be the culprit. I see. You only saw the aftermath of the scene, not the actual crime being committed. Very well. Hopefully there's no issues with your testimony this time. Defense, it's time for your cross-examination. Naturally, Your Honor. Dragmeyer still looks pretty angry. Bet he didn't expect such a blatant contradiction to pop up. If I could just find another one like that, the princess' testimony will be completely untrustworthy in the eyes of the judge. We gotta make Zelda into a liar. Because she's a liar. Why is Ganon named Dragmeyer? Because his full name is Ganondorf Dragmeyer. That's been his full name for... since Ocarina of Time. Like they called him Ganondorf in A Link to the Past, and then they went with Ganondorf Dragmeyer in Ocarina of Time. Why did you do it, Your Highness? There's no life. There's a life on the line here. I really am sorry. I suppose I got to pick two sides in being a witness in an actual murder trial. Really now? Most people hate testifying. Yes, well, the life of a princess is rather boring, you know? This is quite the break from the routine for me. Did I just get a hobby then? In that case, it can be conclusively proven that the defendant did it. Defense, do you exhaust your singular brain cell on that last contradiction you found? There's a Death Mountain's worth of evidence pointing to the defendant. Just because no one saw the actual moment of the crime doesn't mean anyone else could have done it. And I think you're making a Death Mountain out of Death Molehill. How can you be so sure of that, Princess? Well, when I entered the ranch house, the victim still had the murder weapon embedded into his body. What? It's obvious what that means, is it not? The killer did not even have enough time to hide the weapon. Yes, I might have not even seen the murder firsthand, but it must have been very close to doing so. Oh my, this seems like a very important detail. I think it would be advisable for Her Highness to amend that to her testimony. Certainly, Your Honor. Interesting. Dragmeyer certainly doesn't look very happy about this development, does he? Might as well continue pressing about it. Thinking on it, I might just know why. I'm just gonna continue to press just to see the dialogue. That doesn't necessarily mean that my client was the one to do it, though. What if someone else stuck in before Malin and the princess arrived? Well, I suppose... Lala Ranch is surrounded by high walls, and the only way through is a self-locking gate. Not very many people have a key to the gate, just the personnel and the crowd. Well, someone could have forced their way in. But if you wish to propose such a possibility, you must have substantiated with evidence. Do you have any proof that a person showed up at the ranch house before the princess? Do I? I don't. I don't have anything of the sort. There must be another angle I could attack this from. Very well, witness. The defense is widely shown at the same time. Please continue with your testimony. Are you sure Malin was the only person there other than the victim? From what I recall, there's an upstairs room at the ranch house. Why someone was hiding there? Don't be stupid, defense. If someone was hiding up there, the Sheikah force would have found them. I stood guard at the door the entire time. No one could have left. What if they jumped out a window? Don't be ridiculous. Those windows are high up. Or I didn't get to see it. What did it say? Those windows are very high up. Yeah. Actually, those windows can't even be opened. They have to break one to leave. Right. Hello, Sean. Well, this is a little more plausible than last testimony she gave. Yes, I suppose it matches the detective's count, doesn't it? Still, I feel like something here sticks out like a sore thumb. Or a saw. Stuck in the victim's body. Well, I think this is the only one because it's found in Malin's hands. I believe I found another reason to doubt the witness's words. It seems the prosecution sees what I'm getting at here. There was a bloody cloth discovered at the scene of the crime. The prosecution had argued before that was used to wipe the saw clean. If the princess saw the saw lodged in Talon's body and the crime scene was left intact, then it couldn't have been wiped. Well, Prosecutor Dragmire, here to explain. This is most perplexing, Your Highness. Are you sure that's what you saw? Hello, Snizzle, what the fuck? Well, maybe the princess decided to pull the saw out in a valiant yet futile attempt to save the victim. And then wipe the blade clean. That would almost be like framing the defendant. Of course I did no such thing. I made sure the crime scene stayed intact. I guess I must have made up the memory about the saw sticking out in Mr. Talon as well? I am running this on the Misters N64 core, so it is close to real hardware. As in, yes, this thing can run on real hardware, but I'm using the Mister to do it. Because that is console accurate, so this isn't... You idiotic girl! You even realize what you've done through your bumbling? I'm sorry. I was just so excited to be standing as witness in court just this once. Whenever I tried telling my father about anything, he always seemed so disinterested. Just this once, I wanted to feel listened to. The defendant, it is clear that she did it. I just wanted to play a larger part in her capture. I'm sorry for the trouble I have caused you all. Your Highness? The court is no place for silly games. As it stands, I'm afraid we'll have to strike your statements from the court record completely. I did it. The prosecution lost their key witness. No, please wait. I have more to say. I was wrong about the crime scene, but I still have not testified about what I saw afterwards. Bah! Why would we care about that? It's the best thing you leave and stop damaging my case with your idiocy. Even if you're not interested in my words, you might be interested in the evidence I found. What? Huh? The evidence? Of course. Well, while the Sheikah Force is investigating inside the ranch house, I looked around the rest of the ranch on my own. Sheikah, did you know about this? Of course I did. You did? I'll have your head for this. Order, order. What is the meaning of this, detective? What have you withheld from the case of court? It's quite simple. The princess specifically requested to present her finding on her own. What? And you agreed to this? The court is not some playground where children decide when evidence should or not be presented because they just have a crown. A crown. It's being rude about it, but I can't help but agree with Dragmire on this one. Also, I don't really buy this story. There's no way Impa would have allowed this. Believe me, I wasn't thrilled with the request either. However, after seeing the evidence in question, I didn't think it would be at all important to the case. Thus, I let the princess have her fun. This is highly irregular. I'm not sure how to feel about this. Prosecutor? Bah, naturally I object to this nonsense. If the detective thinks it's irrelevant, then it's probably just a waste of time. All the evidence points to the defendant. It's still clear that she did it, even without a witness at the scene. I see. Defense? What do we do? We rejected presenting the evidence, and Dragmire loses his key witness. Plus, whatever the princess presents could be bad for our case, too. So should we agree with the prosecution? Well, on the other hand, we don't really have much to go on. This could be only lead left. Well, don't keep us waiting. Surely, you won't throw away all the progress you've made thus far. I do. I want to request the evidence. Really hope this is on the right choice. The defense requests that the evidence be presented. What? While I agree the situation is irregular, we should still examine all evidence available. It would be silly to dismiss it as irrelevant without you seeing what it is. I do believe you have a point, defense. However, I must warn you, in order to admit this piece of evidence in the court record, the princess' statement that she found it must be admitted as testimony along with everything else she might say. Yes, Your Honor, I'm quite aware. The defense wishes to give the princess just one more chance. Of all the idiotic, foolish... Order. Very well, then. Your Highness, please testify at once about the new piece of evidence you found during your own investigation. Thank you. I will not let you down this time. I promise. The princess should understand the gravity of the situation at hand now. I just hope this new evidence isn't damaging to our case. My finding. I wish to express my heartfelt apology for my mistakes in the earlier testimony. Upon entering the ranch house, I saw the defendant passed out in front of the victim who was bleeding out. I stood guard out the entrance of the ranch house until the Sheikah force arrived. Once the Sheikah started investigating the crime scene, I decided to take a look around the ranch. While I was walking near the silo, I noticed a strange odor in the air. I had to stop to see where it was coming from. I followed the scent and found a burned-out fire nearby and a small, nearly empty bottle of lamp oil. I, of course, took the bottle straight to the head detective. And here it is! The oil bottle I found. Is something wrong? Oh no, this might actually be completely irrelevant. Yes, well, of course there is, foolish girl. Whoops. Thank God, history! This has nothing to do with anything. Your great finding is some random fire on the ranch, please. What's next? Are you going to declare every rake on the premises suspicious? Well, the prosecution will calm down. This is bad. Your Honor? Despite the fact that this evidence might not seem to add up to anything at the moment, the defense still asserts that it's right to cross-examination. Some straws has been grasped. Why must you insist on this charade, defense? The princess has merely recounted the same view as the crime scene as the head detective. You haven't been able to find any contradictions in her statement. I actually have. I believe there might be a way to find tie the princess's new evidence into the case. Ridiculous! Regardless of what the prosecution thinks, the defense does have a right to a cross-examination. The court admits the oil bottle into evidence. I just really hope this isn't a complete waste of time, defense. For both your own sake and your clients. I can already see where it wants to go with this. I just need to check my court record again. Hold on. Ranch inventory. Brakes, garden hose, buckets, hammers, knives, wood saws, saddles, horseshoes, axes, brooms, scythes, shovels, flails, trowels, post pounders, drag harrows, water hoses, wheelbarrows, horse cart, towing harnesses, and cow nose rings. I don't see anything about oil bottles. What? There's no need to present apology. You already wasted a chance to throw out her testimony. Yes, defense? Please get to the point. Yikes. Oh, it's pretty good. I'm not really sure if it shows up. It shows up on my end, and probably if you play on an emulator, that increases resolutions. I can tell that Link actually sweats. Like there's some sweat effect. Upon entering the ranch, was there anything else in the room? Only the beautiful little crystal bottle I mentioned before. The house is rather barren. Most of our things are on top floor since downstairs are mostly used for ranch business these days. And the occasional game. Oh, of course! That's infamous Kuko game. The good old days. Is the defense done reminiscing? There will be plenty of time to do that with the defendants behind bars. I'm just trying to distract myself from the fact there's nothing to latch on here. Like I see it. I stood guard at the end of the... Did anything happen during that time? No, not that I recall. The guards occasionally protest and asked me to let them take over, but I held my stance. While commendable in theory, staying in the same room as a dangerous killer isn't very wise. What if she woke up and lashed out at you? Sweet highly up above! That thought did not occur to me. But, of course not. Foolish girl. But the guards did actually stand close by. I would have been safe. Wonderful to see how much faith our princess has in our royal guard. Yes, of course I do. In any case. You didn't just go home? The royal visitation was supposed to last a little longer. Father was not expecting us back to the castle until much later. I came to the ranch to examine the horses, so I suppose I at least could do that in the meantime. How long did it take for she could arrive at the scene? It doesn't take very long to make the trip to Hyrule Castletown to Lon Lon Ranch. I can imagine it was more than 20 minutes. That is pretty fast. Although I imagine the fact that the princess would have helped speed it up. Slow pokes! I would have been there in half the time, riding it backwards even. I suppose there's no surprise though. Iron horses are naturally inferior to our fine Gerudo steeds. The Gerudo buy horses from... Wait, what? No. The Gerudo buy horses from our ranch too, you... Oh, okay. Just don't bother, he's trying to rile you up. What was that smell like? Oh, it was awful. A really terrible stench. Surely you don't mean to say that you found the smell of horse manure suspicious. Don't be ridiculous. The smell was coming from the horses. Fire, huh? Now let me remind you, defense, that there's any number of reasons why a fire could have been there. You can still feel the cold grasp of death early in the morn. Princess, how long would you estimate the fire had been out before you found it? Right. There was still smoke rising out of the ashes, so it must have been put out recently. Around the time of the crime. So someone prepared that breakfast there. I repeat, this fire is irrelevant. I think you realized the same thing I did. Well, who was it? Who could have lit that fire anyway? It would have been the ranch worker who was putting the milk and shipments together at the time. It was almost certainly him. If you really want to ask about his little barbecue, you might get your wish soon. Doesn't sound like it was very appetizing. But without any concrete pin on him, he'll just be able to brush it off. Right, she allowed you to present it. Well, I was the one to find it, and since I was going to trial anyway... Utter ridiculousness. Yes, please make this the last time you do something like this, Your Highness. Proper procedures exist for a reason. Yes, I understand. Defense, I believe that is enough. It doesn't seem like you're getting any closer to finding a connection between this fire and the crime at all. I suppose not, Your Honor. Naturally. I've said this was a waste of time from the beginning. In that case, the cross-examination is over. Thank you for your time, Your Highness. I assume that you have no more revelations to share with us? No, I do not. I thought the fire would be important. Leave my sight. Enough. Your Highness, if you allow me to escort you back to Hyrule Castle. Very well. Now that the prince's little game is over, we should move this along. The prosecutor's stance is still the same, of course. We maintain that the evidence is on its own is enough to convict the defendant. Let me make sure that things are saved. I do believe I am nearly ready to hand down my verdict. But, Your Honor, there's nothing that definitively shows that Malin committed the crime. This is all circumstantial. There's no way she could have killed her own father. That's exactly the point of defense. The prosecution has yet to elaborate on the defendant's motive. Patricide is not something a person commits lightly. Well, I did briefly touch on the subject during my opening statement. But naturally, the prosecution is fully prepared to elaborate on the matter. I would like to call in my third witness. That has to be the ranch worker. Before calling him, though, the prosecutor requests a brief recess to prepare. I thought you said you were already prepared. Maybe he wants to double check that his new witness won't pull anything weird like the princess did. Very well. I do believe a break would benefit us all. The court will reconvene after a 15-minute recess. Court is adjourned. Defendant lobby 3. Not going all that well, is it? No, I think it went well as it could have. Actually, given the circumstances, we exposed the worst of the princess's testimony as untrue. I can't believe she doesn't make up stuff like that. Yeah, that was surprising. Still, the issue is that we didn't manage to shake the core of the argument. If only there was anyone else in that house. Now, there's no need to look so gloom. I have no idea. Oh, it's Impa. Detective, aren't you supposed to be escorting the princess back? The carriage is being prepared. I thought I'd drop in the meantime. You really managed to make Dragmire furious, you know. I have? If you listen carefully, you might be able to hear him ranting over in the prosecutor's lobby. He's really giving his upcoming witness a grilling. Why Dragmire? I feel like it works. Like, okay. It works from the stance of not an Edgeworth, but a Von Karma. And I mean not Francisca, but the one from the first game. Because it can't be, they can't be incompetent, they can't be a rival. So it has to be someone that is vicious. So, like Yvonne Karma. So in the end game, I guess, I mean, it's only been this one case. But I feel like of all the characters that you can probably do, it works the best with him. Expect him to try to shut you down as soon as he can. Well, that would be worrying about anything he could shut down in the first place, I guess. Oh, but you do. What do you mean? Oh, come on now. Talk about the princess's grand discovery, of course. The fire? I wasn't able to do anything with that. You really think it's relevant? Don't get me wrong. At present, I am convinced the girl did it. We investigated and came to this conclusion for a reason. But I'm willing to explore every possibility. The fire is definitely a bit strange. I dare say it may be your only way out of this. If I may be so bold, I think you should press the next witness on that topic hard. As the only other person working on the ranch at the time, he is the only one who could have lit that fire. If he's hiding something, I think the court deserves to know. Thing is, next testimony is about the motive. If it's going to be difficult to bring up the fire again without Dragmire objecting, you only have to make it work. Honestly, I don't like it. She's right. There really isn't a whole lot else to go on here. Well, thank you. Don't mention it. One last thing. You, ranch girl? Me? Try not to hold the testimony against the princess. Believe me, I'm sure she was acting with the best of intentions in mind. You know the road to Darkrealm is paved with those, right? Perhaps. It was definitely a serious lapse of judgment, one she will live to regret. Part of this comes from the fact that she's rather sheltered and inexperienced. After the sudden death of her older sister last year, she was thrust into the role as heir very suddenly. What? That's right, the mysterious death of the firstborn Princess Zelda. Hyrule still grieves after the events of this day. And yet no one knows why exactly it happened. In the void of information, conspiracy theories ran amok. People blaming the Royal Guard, the Sheikah, even the king himself. The princess will soon have a whole kingdom's worth of troubles on her shoulders. For a kingdom with a history as turbulent as ours, it's a lot to handle. The princess's conduct today was probably won't help with the distrust some people have of the crown right now, though. She's wise beyond our years. She will learn and she will be better. I simply ask you to not think of her as an enemy, whatever comes of this trial. She doesn't need more than she already has. Well, she's so intense. I never expect to see Impa get so emotional. I guess that's why she decided to take the blame for the princess as a impromptu investigation. Detective Impa! What is this, soldier? I'm quite busy at the moment, so please be quick. The investigation team back at the ranch has just sent word of a new development. Something about milk shipment being returned to the ranch because of a wrong recipient address. They're asking you to come over to see it. Oh, those idiots. Don't have time for this. Send someone else. I have to escort the princess to the castle. Roger. That did remind me, though. I took this bottle of milk from a couple of guards who were slacking on the job earlier. Here, ranch girl. Perhaps it'll help you calm your nerves somewhat. Not to worry, it's still unopened. Oh! Thank you! That's nice of her. Too bad for those guards, though. Now then, I believe the princess's carriage should be prepared by now. If you excuse me. I think I'm nervous right now. Milk has just lost its flavor. Huh? Lost its flavor? But Lon Lon milk is always so tasty. Are you sure it's just nerves? Let me try some. Huh? You're right. I assume this would come from one of yesterday's shipments? Probably. With the investigation at the ranch, there wouldn't be any today, so... maybe it just isn't fresh? It's watered down. No, I don't think so. It doesn't really taste as if it's gone bad. Also, the guard said one of Shirley's shipments was misaddressed, didn't he? And this was all handled by Ingo, wasn't it? I think there's something odd going on, and I better make some notes about this in the court record. Lon milk. Defense, the court is about to reconvene. Escort your client back to the courtroom at once. So it comes down to this. The conclusion is approaching. Time to whoops. If we're going to Roofie Milan. No. Court is back in session from the trial of Malin of Lon Ranch. I trust the prosecution's final witness is ready. Naturally, I've purposely seen to it there will be no foolishness this time around. Hopefully his ears are intact. As we discussed before the recess, having established the opportunity and means for the defendant to have committed the murder, only one matter remains. The matter of motive. For naturally, such a heinous crime couldn't be a result of mere happenstance. The prosecution believes the defendant had a deep desire to push her to patricide. Our next witness can shed the light on the matter. Fascinating. Very well. Please proceed. The prosecution calls the ranch worker Ingo to the stand. It's funny to see Mr. Ingo in such a fancy clothes. Oh? Yeah, he almost always wears just work dungarees. It's almost like looking at a different person. Well, I guess he wanted to dress up for court and wouldn't want to get this nice outfit dirty by working in it. Quiet, defense. Witness, state your name and occupation. Your Honor, great honorable prosecutor. My name is Ingo. I mine Lon Ranch. Mind? What does that entail exactly? I'm mostly there to work on the structures and equipment. The owner and his daughter are the ones who tend to the animals and take care of the orders. How long have you been working at the ranch? It'll be several years at this point. There's been others who came and went, but I, Ingo, have preserved through all the hardships. Sounds like you wanted a medal for it. Well, he does get a bit pompous at times, but Mr. Ingo is really great help. He built the ranch silo single-handedly. Oh, that's some dedication. Very well, given that you're clearly an important employee, you're privy to some inside information, is that correct? Yes, the ranch owner shared all the big plans with me. He trusted me implicitly. He used to say that we're like a big family. That sounds lovely. That sounds like a red flag that you're going to get loads of unpaid overtime. Evidently, not every member of your so-called family felt the same way, though, did they? It hurts to do this, but I have no choice. Hear my story, honorable court of law. Dog. Luigi. Just a couple of days ago, the owner, Talon, partially signed the ranch over to his daughter, Malin. Talon became a life tenant, with Malin meant to inherit all the assets after his death. As long as Talon lived, Malin could not sell the ranch. It's simple, isn't it? The girl killed Talon to get full ownership and leave the dingy ranch life behind. It's appalling how ungrateful she is after all Talon did for her. And there you have it, testimony from the man who just lost everything. It's truly tragic to witness yet another family torn apart by greed. We have evidence, we have defendant caught red-headed in scene crime, and now we have a motive. How do we know he's telling the truth? I have this, of course, verified at the witness testimony. As per the law, all inheritance documents must be filed at the Castletown Notary Office to be considered valid. I saw fit to prepare this for the trial. The prosecution would like to submit the Lon Ranch inheritance document into evidence. Mr. Ingo, why would you... You shouldn't pass judgment now, Judge. Or should pass judgment now, Judge. The defense has nothing. I would like to cross-examine the witness. There are a few more details I feel are relevant. But of course, ask whatever you like. I, the hard-working Ingo, can handle it. Very well, defense. Please begin. Let me look at the court record. One in the milk from the shipments yesterday. Had says it. Malin will inherit the ranch if she's unable to divvy the deed between the crown and the remaining employees. So this Zelda is 14. And Malin is 27. So wait, if we met Malin 7 years ago, that means she's 20 when this happened. Ingo is 44. Smart man who worked on the ranch, usually in his work clothes, but he's dressed up nicely for court. How long ago was this exactly? 3-4 days. I'm not sure of the exact date. Had it been planned for a long time? Talon was getting on in the years, so better to take care of most matters sooner than later, eh? Malin. He is telling the truth. Father scheduled a visit to the notary office about a week ago. What do you mean by partly? So Malin hadn't become the ranch owner yet. Of course not. Hadn't you heard all the stories making rounds recently? So many ungrateful brats throwing their old folks into the retirement homes the moment ownership signed to them. Talon was no fool. I convinced him that it was the safer option. If the girl comes up with some chicanery, he could always revert his decision. That's horrible. I'd never do that. As much as I like to believe that, you did much worse by killing him. Children these days, you feed them, you raise them, and they pull a stunt like this as soon as you give them an inch over yourself. I must concur, the younger generation is horrible. Why do you look at me when saying that? Anyways, what was meant was... As long as Talon lived, Malin could not sell the ranch. But why would Malin want to sell the ranch right now? Why wouldn't she want to? Why would a pretty little girl like her want to work on some dingy ranch? She'd have it much better if she sold the old place and used the money to move to Castletown. That's not true. I love working with the animals. I wouldn't leave them for anything. She's off the slacking on the job while I, the hard-working Ingo, have to cover for her. I guess the Deku nut doesn't fall from the tree, as they say. That Talon loved to sleep on the job, too. I heard it required quite a funny story about the Lon Lon Ranch owner blocking the side entrance to Hyrule Castle for an entire day once. The guards couldn't wake him up. It took particularly vocal Kuko, apparently. Jeez. Well, there you go. I'm the real reason why the ranch has such renown. And me, the hard-working Ingo. Wait, that's not true at all. I know, but how do I stop this? Do you really think that Malin would go that far? I didn't want to think about it, but clearly the events speak for themselves, don't they? Why wouldn't she just wait a few more years then? Talon was getting older, perhaps she knew more and more work would be piling onto her. But really, how am I supposed to know? Ask her! That's alright. Well, if Malin didn't want to work, she would have done this, wouldn't she have done this earlier? As Talon's only child, she'd still inherit the ranch. That's where you're wrong. For a long while, Talon planned to split the ranch between the girl and the crown. He was a patriotic man. He knew how much those horses meant to the royal guard. I wish he hadn't changed his mind now. Is that true? Yeah, Father's previous inheritance document did work that way. Oh, admirable. I guess familiar bonds were over to drive to help the kingdom. Truly a shame. Yes, naturally the girl wanted the whole thing, so she bided her time. I think this sufficiently explains the timing. Let's continue, shall we? Huh? Wait just a moment. There's one more problem with that timing I would like the witness to explain. Why would Malin have planned the murder for the day of the royal visitation specifically? More people around means more witnesses. You'd think she would have chosen any other day. Oh, did I forget to mention this? I overheard Talon arguing with her that very moment. He was telling her he changed his mind again. He was planning to tell the king that he'd be signing the ranch over to the crown. After the visitation was over, he'd head to Castle Town to change the inheritances back to the original split. What? Despite the victim's wishy-washiness, it would appear that he did make the right choice in the end. And because of that choice, if the defendant wanted to get to the ranch, she would have to waste no time that day. Is that true too? Absolutely not. Father wasn't planning to do that, and there was no argument either. What to do about this argument then? There was an argument about an inheritance? That sounds like an important fact to me. The defense requested to be added to the testimony. I'd be happy to, Your Honor. What about what time does this happen? First thing in the morning, I was heading out to the silo to start the day's work. I just walked out the front door of the ranch house when I heard some yelling erupt behind me. Do you remember any specific what was said? Oh yes, it surprised me enough that I stopped to listen for a while. It was all like, I'm really sorry, Malin, but this is the most important thing to make sure the king will always have a steady supply of quality horses. I don't care. What about me, father? How can you do this to me? Malin, this isn't just about you. It's for the good of the entire kingdom. But what am I supposed to do? I can't move up in life if I suck on this stump of a ranch forever. I thought you loved the ranch. All the animals around here, and Ingle's always around to help out with the chores too. He's pretty great, isn't he? Yeah, Ingo's awesome, but I still hate you for this. This isn't over. What a stirring reenactment. I'll keep my thoughts on the witness's acting skills to myself. There's no way this actually happened, though. Malin would never want to sell the ranch. Well, of course you'll say that now, you buffoon. Remember, she's under suspicion for murder. We can't trust a thing she says. Well, I trust her, but the judge probably doesn't right now, so that's unfortunately what matters. Do I have anything in the court record to refute this story? If you ask me, the whole inheritance issue would have been avoided if the crown wasn't so soft. In Gerudo Desert, there would be no question that the fortress may seize whatever it desires. That's just messed up. No matter. Continue your testimony, farmhand. Share with us the true nature of the defendant. You hold on. No, you. That man gave everything for her. She's got so many expensive presents over the years. Just look at that golden necklace she's wearing. That man spoiled her rotten. In fact, I think I saw another present he was mean to give her on the very day he was killed. Another gift? Why, yes, a little bottle of perfume, I believe. It's horrible! That Talon was such a kind man. What happened to him is despicable. Was that last statement important? Yeah. Your Honor, the defense wishes to add the statement about the perfume to the testimony. Bah! What are you doing? Trying to implicate the defendant even harder? I think it's an important detail. The perfume is irrelevant. I suppose the prosecution has no objections to strengthening our case. Very well, witness. Please add what you said to your testimony. Where did you see this? I think it was just lying around the ranch house. Talon probably intended to give it to Malin on the day he was killed. You mean this, witness? Why, yes, that's exactly it. Looks very expensive. If only Talon hadn't spent so much on his salary for me, the hard-working Ingo. I get up and leave to do work at the break of dawn every day, you know. What's your relationship with this guy anyway? Well, He's been employed and living with us on the ranch for nearly as long as I can remember, really. You know, I don't think he's ever skipped a day of work thinking about it. Not a single one? Talk about dedication. Maybe so something's very off here. Alright. We got a couple. I'll do this one first. Witness. What is it? Just to confirm, you say this bottle of perfume was bought for Malin by her father, correct? What else would it be for? I assure you, Talon was the type to indulge in perfumes. Far from it. Well, you're wrong, witness. Oh, is that so? Was the rancher truly a perfume connoisseur? No, Your Honor. The bottle of perfume was brought for the princess. Huh. So what, defense? Sure, it's technically a contradiction, but what does the purpose of this bottle change? Yes, defense, I admit I'm confused as well. Please explain why this point is important. Earlier in the trial, Malin mentioned that Talon brought this perfume in preparation last minute. Isn't that right, Malin? It sure is. We had this gift for the king prepared when the news arrived that it would actually make be for the princess making his visitation. Father quickly rode out of town to get the new gift. As if it puts one thing into question. Well, somebody's movements around the ranch are put into serious doubts. Someone's? Well, don't keep us ready then, defense. Who is this person? Naturally, the person movements we suspect is... oh, Ingo. The witness himself, if you recall, this bottle of perfume, which had just been purchased, was found at the crime scene. A crime scene the witness supposedly never went to. He should have known about the bottle. Order, order! The defense raises a very valid point. You simpleton, what's the meaning of this? Well, witness, did you go to the scene of crime at any point? No, of course I didn't. I was working in Silo all day. I remember, I saw the gift the day before the crime. The girl is lying. Talon must have gotten the gift the day before. You're the one who's lying. Father didn't even leave the ranch at all that day. One word's against another. Defense? Do you have any way to prove that your versions of events is true? Ask the store. Why don't we send a soldier to ask the store when the bottle was bought? Oh, do you really know how many people visit that store? It's inconceivable that the owner would remember every random purchase. Any other ideas, defense? Okay, that didn't kill a heart. Well, you buy something, usually you get a receipt, and the receipt always shows the date of purchase. It might still be at the ranch house. I would say we send someone out to look for it. I'll never throw some receipts anyways. We have a drawer full of them. The perfume one should be right on top. I believe this idea has some merit. Soldiers, rush out the ranch house immediately and search for that receipt. Mallet, I feel like that would kill a heart. Your Honor? Yes? What is it, soldier? We have just received the receipt from the team stationed at the crime scene. Very well, thank you. I shall now read it aloud. There's a lot of writing on this. Writing. From Tingle's Mysterious Smells. Ah, yes, I think I've seen that store. Is that the eccentric looking place in the back alley? You could have missed the blinding neon colors if you tried. It's another eyesore. The gall of this. Nobody running a monopoly on Hyrulean perfume is preposterous. Perhaps, but back to the matter at hand. The nerve of that dunderhead! Why would anyone ever shop at its store where the owner calls every other customer a fairy? Prosecutor? And the balloons! Oh, the balloons! The full pot one right in my face. Prosecutor Dragmire, enough! Continuing on, purchase item. 1 bottle of Rosy Rupee Land. Oh my! This is quite the price! Why, I would have to... Your Honor, please, the date of purchase. Ah, yes, right. Date of purchase. Why, it's March 16th, the day of the murder! Order! Yes, we got him! Phew, I think we're finally getting somewhere. Oh, this still doesn't mean anything. Perhaps the witness briefly went back to the ranch for something and saw the bottle then. Yes, that's it. I was getting thirsty, so I went back to get a drink. I must have seen the bottle then. Oh, come on. You think we're gonna believe that? Do you have any proof that he didn't? Well, I believe this calls for further testimony. As the witness now claims to have visited the crime scene shortly before the murder, we should learn of his exact movements that day. Huh, my movements? Well, alright. There's not a whole lot to say, though. So unfortunately, he managed to weasel out of that. Let this next testimony be full of lies. This is my chance. My non-suspicious movements. As always stated, I volunteered to work in the silo. At one point, I briefly went back to the ranch house to get myself a glass of water. I went back to the silo right after that and stayed there until the courier came. I haven't been back to the ranch house at all since then. At some point, the detective came and told me what happened. And well, was that detective one fine woman. Hello, Torvar. See, I haven't done anything to warrant suspicion. Eat my shoes, you brat! I'll pass. Has to be something wrong there. I can't put a flawless story. You can't put a flawless story together that quickly. Miss Peak. There's a lot of Peak. Okay. Let's just continue. What were you doing? Working on the shipments and fulfilling orders. We send out crates of milk to milk bars all across the kingdom every day, you know. Milk bars. Naturally, everyone loves a good drink, you know. And our milk is renowned as the best there is. I heard some others watered theirs down. Despicable. I see. I think you said earlier that your job is to work on the structures and equipment, though? Indeed, Talon and the girl would usually be the ones overseeing milk orders. However, since the royal visitation was happening that day, I felt they needed their minds unoccupied, so I took it upon myself to do it this time. After the murder, I got scared that the Sheikah Force investigation would delay the shipment, and that I, the great Ingo, would get the blame. Thankfully, it all went through fine. Yeah, you were so concerned with sending off quickly that you wrote the wrong delivery address on it. But your Hylian's ridiculous. Getting tipsy from something like milk. Bet you couldn't even handle a sip of the Gerudo's Nova Pursuit, a real man's drink. A real man's drink. Aren't most of the Gerudos women? Speaking of drinks, I believe the witness was talking about he had gotten himself a glass of water. Of course, moving with that heavy stuff works up a sweat, you see. I got very thirsty and... You didn't think just take a sip of the milk that you're handling? No, it wouldn't be right. That milk was for the customers, you see. I just didn't want to get into any trouble. A truly honest man. How dare you suggest he would steal from his own workplace? Right, so what did you see at the house? Nothing much. I got my drink and left. Still had a lot of work to do, you see. I suppose I must have seen the perfume bottle and did. In fact, yes, I remember it clearly now. I was there on the table, plain as day. Great. What happened after that, witness? And you were just able to complete this so quickly on your own. But you don't know the mind of the great Ingo. Hurrah! Pow! Ram! I get things done in no time. I did almost break my back in those crates out of the silo, though. There were so many and they're all so heavy. It was like a puzzle in there. Anyway, that's not important. The point is... Are you sure? Sure as can be. You never went back in, even after the crime was discovered. But they wouldn't let me in. Preserving the crime scene was some such. Can't even get any of my own things. However, I was questioned. No one gave me half a glance. I had to sleep in the stables that night. It was terrible. If what this is important, it is important. Your Honor? Add the statement. What? What are you trying to pull now? Witness, please amend your statement. Whatever. In his sleep, I accessed my belongings. I had to spend... Couldn't you have stayed at an inn? Well, what am I, made of money? Think, boy. I'm just a simple ranch worker, you know. You know, lawyers always flaunting your wealth. Right, sorry. Not actually sorry. I doubt one night would bankrupt this guy. Just look at what he's wearing. Could you elaborate? She's a hard-working woman who gets to the point and takes what she wants. Not to mention her impeccable fashion sense. What's not to love? That's not the part I wanted him to elaborate on. Wow, he seems totally smitten with her. Sure does. Wonder how Impa feels about it. Perhaps when this chore of a trial is over, I could... But no, it will have to wait. You thought you could distract me, did you? I, the genius ranch worker Ingo, sees through your schemes. He's getting to that story, isn't he? Yeah. It's a desperate fix, but it holds up surprisingly well. I can hardly believe this is the same as Ingo I knew. He's usually so nice. There's some more details. There has to be a piece of our profile. Accessing my belongings. Let's see. No. Has to be something here. I think this is the only thing I can think of. No. What do you think of this statement, Your Honor? Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. Well, it had to have been. Don't listen to him, Joe. There's nothing to do with being discussed. I knew that. The attorneys always seem to ask why they have no idea what they're talking about. Has to be something. I mean, there's this part with this part. I went back to Silo. I can try this here. Yeah, okay, that's the one. You stayed at the silo the whole time. I don't think so. We know someone made a find around the time of the crime, and the only one who could have done it is you. A fire? Oh, yes, the fire. I suppose I did forget to mention that, didn't I? Huh? Yes, I did light a fire at one point, I admit. Everyone was busy preparing for the visitation in the morning. I didn't have time to eat. So I decided to make myself something while I worked. In fact, that reminds me, yes, that's a part of why I went to get myself that glass of water. The breakfast I was cooking burned a little and needed something to wash it down with. Had a long day with two Dr. Boy top out and bitch out. Oh, God. Well, at least you don't have cancer. 12 Jesus. Your life is fucked half the time. See, defense, what did I tell you? That the fire is completely irrelevant. He's not only dismissed the contradiction, but managed to strengthen his story too. I'm glad we finally laid that mystery to rest. Defense, is that all you wish to ask during this cross-examination? Solve the mystery? No way. No, Your Honor. I would like to keep cross-examining for a bit longer. Very well. The witness shall update his statement, and in the future, please try not to omit any details, no matter how small. Why, yes, of course, Your Honor. It won't happen again. Okay, so it's considered pressed. At one point, I had breakfast and went back to the ranch to get myself. So he amended this one. Well, let me press it again. See what happens. You didn't say, okay, is it just... In trouble, truly honest man. Well, I guess that the thing is also... Wait. Wait! Zelda's testimony, so that wouldn't work. Where's Zelda's There is Zelda's testimony one. Unless I do it again. So the contradiction in this case is he had breakfast, went back to the ranch house to get himself a glass of water, but that would mean that like Zelda's testimony sucks. I get it. But is it press this again? No. What? Instead of the flawless story, oh, maybe I have to. Zelda. Maybe if I press Zelda. Because I know what it is. Consult, no. I'm going to present Zelda. Damn it. No. Fuck. Dang it. This is the part of Ace Attorney that kind of sucks, where I sit there and have to think for like a moment. Where I have the plan, but I gotta figure it out. Why would Ingo even try to return to Wrench House if he knew there'd be a murder there? I don't imagine he had another place to sleep. Father let him move in with us when he was hired, so he would only have to spend money on rent. Really didn't expect to be asleep at the active crime investigation. All of Mr. Ingo's belongings are at the house. All of them, huh? It would be so easy to prove him back to see him if he just had something on him right now that he shouldn't. Okay, so that's what it wants. It wants me to present him because of his clothes. Witness, there's something seriously wrong with your testimony. What? What are you talking about? You said he couldn't get any of your belongings because they weren't on the ranch house, correct? The ranch house you were not allowed to go in. That's right? Well, that would imply you should be wearing your work clothes. Pardon me if I'm wrong, but those don't look like work clothes at all. The defense has a point. The witness appears pretty well dressed for court. I couldn't imagine he would want to sully those clothes during work. Well, what do you have to say to that? Oh, of course. I can explain. It's simple. These are brand new. Yeah, on my way to the courthouse, I went shopping for a nice new outfit. After all, I couldn't very well show up to court dressed like a bum. Yes, defense. Certain people have a modicum of respect for the court and show up properly dressed. What's that supposed to mean? This is my finest Zora suit. He claimed to brought this clothes after the crime, is that correct? Very much so. This morning, in fact. Why do I need to repeat myself? So... no. You buying those clothes is simply impossible. What? Thank you, Tico, for the 5-stream streak. Oh, how can you claim so? Defense, as you know, evidence is everything in court. Either prove that witness could have bought these clothes today, or get out. Well... what's... okay. The idea... wait, hold on. The photograph. Ah, there it is. I would like to turn the court's attention to this. Look at this pictograph. Ah! Why, this is one lovely pictograph. Ah, it reminds me of the idyllic days I spent in my What about this pictograph, defense? Well, just look at what Ingo's wearing. This photo is from Malin's childhood, but Ingo's very clearly wearing the same outfit he has on right now. He could have bought it today. Yeah! Order! I will have order! Why, the defense is absolutely correct. I hope the witness has a good explanation for this. There! I think we finally got him. There's no way he can weasel out this time. Oh, unless someone weasels out for him.
Rabble, rabble, rabble.
Yeah. But isn't it obvious? Naturally, the witness knew he would need to wear his nice clothes for the royal visitation that was scheduled for that day. He brought them to the silo in advance so he can quickly change before the royal visitation's arrival. Oh? Yes, of course. I need to be presentable after all. Can't look like a bum in front of the most important people in the kingdom. Wait a minute, this is insane. What kind of kangaroo court is this? The prosecution keeps on making excuses up on the spot. Ingo was clearly lying about buying the clothes before the trial. He's definitely trying to hide something. Your Honor, surely you won't accept this blatant perjury. Accept it, Judge. There can be no other explanation. The prosecution explanation does seem plausible. What? However, the fact that the witness didn't simply say it himself and instead made up a lie about buying the clothes is indeed very suspicious. Defense. The prosecution has posed there is no other possible explanation for this contradiction. What is your opinion on the matter? Can the defense think of an alternative version of events? This is big. I really need to think this through. Are we doing something weird now? Ingo's acting really suspicious right now. He's desperately trying to patch up holes in his testimony to conceal his real movement. Why would he be doing that? Well, Ingo is the murderer. If it's not Malin, Ingo's the only person who could have done this. I have to assume he did if I want to think that Malin is innocent. With that in mind, why would Ingo change out of his work clothes? What happened to make that necessary? Well, obviously, Talon's blood. When Ingo killed Talon, his clothes must have gotten blood on them. He had to change into something else to hide his involvement. But then wouldn't Sheikah Force have found its clothes in the house? How could they have disappeared? They were thrown in a fire. We've used all 3 powers of the goddesses. Ingo burned his clothes. That's it. That explains everything. I believe I can offer an alternative explanation. Nonsense. Judge, the defense has spent far too long sitting in silence just now. They clearly have nothing. I call for a quick wound. And not only can I explain it, but in fact, the defense formally accuses the witness of the murder. No! It's simple. The reason he had to swap his outfit and why he's been lying about the circumstances ever since is because he's staying with the victim's blood. Preposterous! If the clothes were discarded, if there's any discarded bloody clothes nearby, the Sheikah Force would have found them, and we would be trying someone else for the murder right now. Why, you're absolutely correct, prosecutor. Naturally, Ingo could have left his bloody clothes lying around. And so he used this to dispose of them. Good thing it's up on the D-pad. Your Honor, cast your mind to the princess's last testimony. The princess's, mysterious fire. Surely you jest. You made yourself known how meaningless our testimony was. And yet, with this new context in mind, it gains completely new meaning. An empty bottle of lamp oil found by a burned out fire. Ingo uses lamp oil quickly burned away his stained work clothes. Well, how about it, witness? My scenario explained everything. You killed Talon and tried to hide it. No, hold on. What drivel are you spouting here? Me? Killed Talon? You already know that's impossible. Too busy for murder. Everything you said was wrong. I have no idea what you're on about. I have an alibi for the time of the crime. Whoops. If I can skip something. I could have done it. There's no way I could have completed those milk shipments, killed Talon, and tried to hide my involvement. The fire was just made for a quick breakfast. There was no mystery there. Stop trying to pin this on poor innocent Ingo. Now, I shouldn't have to remind you, defense, but you yourself are surprised that Ingo was able to complete this shipment in time. Adding even more things for him to do in that time is preposterous. That's right, the great Ingo is efficient at his job, but not that efficient. No, it had to been him. I'm sure of it. There must be some trick at play here, some kind of shortcut. I must find it. Hold it. Surely my scenario is more plausible at this point than those panic attempts to fix your story. What's more plausible isn't for you to decide, defense. It's a judge that makes a final call, and as long as the alibi stands, I can't imagine him siding with you. Yes, all this loose ends have to be tied up before a decision can be made. Witness, please continue. Could you explain what the alibi is again? With pleasure. At the time of the crime, I was busy preparing the day's shipments of milk. That's hard work. I barely had enough time to get them done before the courier came to take them. Shipments were inspected by the Sheikah Force as they were leaving the ranch. And our resident detective had told that they were found to be fully loaded with bottles of milk. That's right. The Sheikah Force itself has vouched for me. There's no way I could be the culprit. Oh, I disagree. There has to be a way. There must be. Would it really have taken that long to murder someone and burn some clothes? It would have taken long enough to definitely make this scheme infeasible. Completing those shipments is a rather involved process. You have to milk the cows, clean the bottles, pour the milk in them, put them in the crates, and load them on the wagon. I love working with the cows, but the part that takes the longest is because you only get a little at a time. So as Miss Ingo said, the whole thing really does take a while. Rather than you usually have to work together to get it done in time for this courier's arrival. There you go, Defense. Your own client knows this unshakable truth. Okay, so there's no way he can complete the shipment and also do the killing. In that case, there has to be some way for him to finish the work faster. I just have to find it. Milk mallet. No. You had enough time for some breakfast, but not enough time to kill someone? Yes, of course. The breakfast was cooking while it kept working, then I quickly gobbled it up. There's no issue there. In fact, yes, I remember even burned a bit because I wasn't completely paying attention to it. That's why I had to go get that glass of water too. You see, you had to wash it down after all. What a convenient little explanation. But for all I know, he actually did cook up a breakfast on the fire, burning instead of burning. But for all I know, he actually did cook up a breakfast on a fire burning blood so close. Ew. Continue, witness. We don't want to hear about your culinary adventures. Of course. My point is that what I've been telling you this whole time. The only people who could have done this were you and Malin. And I know Malin well enough to know she couldn't be the culprit, so that makes you the perpetrator. Yes, by all we know how much you value your friend. Let me remind you though, that feelings don't matter at all here. Either show us solid evidence that puts Ingo's alibi into question or concede defeat. Is there any way he could have done the work faster? I'm not sure. It would be nice if there was, though. I could sleep a little bit longer every day. Yeah, you'd think he'd share it with you if he knew of one. Just what shortcut did you... I mean, I already know. I just have to figure out... like... well... okay, I have one or two options. It's either the milk shipment return or Lon Lon milk. I feel like this one is the most obvious to present because he fucked up the shipment. Witness! What is it? I overheard an intriguing detail during the last recess. It seems the address of one of yesterday's milk shipments wasn't written correctly. You must have been rushing. That's how you did it. I haven't heard anything about the issue with shipment address, but I'll play along. Suppose you're right about it. Writing an address only takes a few seconds. Even if it was reduced to a single swift stroke of the pen, it wouldn't save much time at all. Certainly not enough to both commit a murder and cover it up. It wasn't just the address. Ingo must have rushed the entire shipment. By what method? You say he somehow completed the entire shipment more quickly? Then prove it with evidence. Unfortunately for you, defense, I must agree with the prosecutor. This alone doesn't prove how much time was saved. Don't you have anything else? Thought I had him for sure. But it looks like I need something stronger to pin him down. Okay, so... whoops. No, it doesn't matter. Which button? It's supposed to be C right. Yeah, the bottle of milk seems to be the best way of doing it. Because the only other one is this. Okay, yep. But did you, though? Did you really complete this shipment properly? Defense, I should have to remind you that the Sheikah Force checked the bottles thoroughly. They were definitely full of milk bottles. Oh, I'm sure of it. Locked. It looked that way. What are you getting at, Defense? Here you go, Your Honor. Huh? Milk for me? Are you trying to bribe the judge now? I didn't think he stooped so low. The crown will be informed of this. Oh, it's nothing like that. All I'm asking is for his honor to try tasting the milk. Just one little sip. This is highly irregular. But to be honest, I could use a drink. All this talking does make one's throat dry, you know. You probably talked the least out of everyone here, though. This is defense instance. I'll go and take a sip. Is this what passes for milk these days? This almost tastes like water. Water? I have to agree. This definitely is not standard milk. As we heard from the princess and detective, Lon Lon Ranch is renowned for the quality of its products. But there's no way people would say that about the milk this lousy. Hello, Accountism. What? As if the unwashed master would know the difference between quality and garbage. Where were you going with this defense? It's simple, you see. I received this bottle from Detective Impa, still unopened during the first recess. As we know, there was no milk shipments today, so this must come from one of Ingo's shipments from yesterday. It's true that Ingo couldn't have murdered Talon and also completed his shipments on his own. Unless he cheated. Ingo watered down the milk to get the shipments done in time. Order! Order! Yes, I suppose that would work. Indeed, all you have to do is milk a few of the cows. To save enough time without ruining the taste too much, I guess you use about 50-50 split of water and milk. This is... no! Talon... Let me stop you right there. I will concede that something odd happened to that shipment. But all you had to prove is that Ingo is a slacker. How dare you! Be quiet, you mongrel. Sure, Ingo watered down the milk. That doesn't make him a killer, though, does it? Well, no. But now that we know they definitely could have done it. We know that he did go to the crime scene. And we know he did have the time and opportunity to kill Talon as well. Yet there is a vital element missing still. Let me put it in simple terms, even so an idiot like you can understand. Rebuttal? This is like... You lack the murder weapon. If Ingo wasn't the murderer, then it couldn't have been the saw. Hold it. And why is that? It's simple. If the girl's story about working on fish is true, then she was using the saw when her father was being murdered. It couldn't have been two places at the same time. Do I agree with this? I believe we're in complete agreement on this point. You do realize the problems that creates for you, right? I'm sure it can all be explained. As if. But, well, then let's move on to why there's nothing else could have been the murder weapon either. Where would the supposed other murder weapon for even come from? Couldn't have used any old thing? Either answer the question of defense or discussion is over. Don't need to overthink this. Anywhere could have gotten from. I'll worry about the exact... I mean, there's 6 knives. There's 1 saw. There's also axes and brooms and things like that. But also, this is March 15th. He could have lied about how many saws are there. Have you forgotten this murder happened on the ranch? There are plenty of sharp things on site. Ho-ho! That's simply impossible. We checked all the sharp objects on the ranch and searched everywhere. No fresh blood was found anywhere else. Couldn't Ingo have just wiped it off? Couldn't he just wiped it off? Blood leaves traces is not that easy to get rid of. People like us aren't so sensitive, but other beings like Zoras can easily tell by smell. Naturally, the Sheikah Force employs people just for this task. Also, Longmont Ranch focuses on selling horses and milk. The animals there are regularly butchered. So there's no good reason why any of the tools would have fresh blood. Any such implement would have stood out like a sore thumb. Well, I guess that's a good point, but I might have to rethink this. Couldn't Bingo just dispose of it in some way? Yeah, that's impossible, you see. No items from the ranch's inventory list were missing, and that list is indisputable. But Ingo made that list. How can you be so sure the inventory is accurate? Bah! Use your head! There was a royal visitation scheduled for that day. The ranch owner needed everything to be in order. He would have doubled, even triple-checked that list if he wrote it. When he wrote it. But he didn't write it. So we just... The inventory list itself is false. Oh, fascinating. What exactly makes you question the veracity of this document? That would be... It's simple. You only need a brief look at the inventory to see it can't be trusted. Ho ho! You can't just go around making such general statements, defense. Point out exactly what the inventory makes us suspect. Yay, we get to do this! There. Just look here. The one who compiled this list was Ingo himself. He could have easily falsified falsified the counts as part of his plan. That doesn't matter. Hello, Yoshi. Nothing could have been. Nothing could have left the ranch. I mean, we know that's provably false. Are you really sure nothing left the ranch? What about a few little shipments of milk? Preposterous! Have you forgotten to send shipments to be checked by the Sheikah Force before they were allowed to leave? That's true, but there was a place the Sheikah could have overlooked. What a did's name are you babbling about? We're talking about box-standing crates here, boy. Not exactly vast dungeons full of nooks and crannies to stuff things into, are there? Where could they have missed a murder weapon? It's simple. They overlooked the contents of the crate, the contents of bottles. The contents of the bottles. There's one place inside the crate that she could have, without thoroughly ruining the shipment. Without ruining the shipment. That's right. Ingo put the murder weapon inside one of the bottles to conceal it from the search. That does seem plausible. Now wait just a moment. Weapon in the bottle would have just gone unnoticed. Someone would have reported it. But if it was shipped to the wrong address... That would be correct if a weapon showed up in someone's milkshake would cause quite a stir. If the milk was ever actually made to be made it to any milk bar, that is. You see, I overheard a very interesting tale during the recess. Word was sent from the ranch not long ago that one of the shipments was returned unopened due to being misaddressed. No! Indeed, if you recall, Ingo was the one who handled all of that. Now that's strange. The ranch supplies the same milk bars every day. Even if it messed up the street address a little, the couriers would have known where the shipment was meant to go. How could he have bungled it that badly? It's almost as if he didn't want anyone receiving a bottle of milk with the murder weapon in it. I bet Ingo expected this box to stay in shipment limbo for a while longer. How unfortunate for him that the Postal Service was on its game today. Maybe because they were worried it'll start to smell. I believe this calls for us to investigate those boxes of milk more closely. Soldiers, have those boxes retrieved from the ranch immediately. Argument complete. This is slander! Why would I kill Talon? Sure, he's a bit of a layabout, but when he did give me a job, why would I want him dead? The motive? That's simple. Well, I am surprised you even asked about it. The evidence more explaining your motive. It's an inheritance document. The very inheritance document you brought to the court's attention states the following. In case of the testator's death, his daughter Malin of Lon Ranch will inherit the ranch. Unless she is unable to oversee it, in which case it shall be divided between the crown and its remaining employees. Ah! What? You not only killed Talon, you decided to frame Malin for the crime as well, so that you would be the one who inherit part of the ranch. That's why you volunteered to work in the silo all day, gave you an alibi so that Malin would be the only possible culprit. Of course, you knew about the royal visitation in advance. You knew that Malin would go back to the ranch house to prepare before they arrived. A perfect setup for the royals to find her next to the body. No. What are you talking about? Talon signed the ranch over to me? Preposterous! Did he really not know? I guess it was Dragmeyer who procured the actual document, not him. Your Honor! What is it, soldier? The box you requested is here. Already? That was quite fast. Apparently the team at the ranch had already noticed something awry with it on its own. The box arrived just as we were about to rush out the courier to deliver our message. Made him fuck you. Wait, what? Well, let's see for ourselves then, shall we? The part of the shipment that proves my case is... Oh, it's this one. Here it is, from the bottle with the slight red tint to the milk. Looks like some kind of serrated knife. That explains the irregular runes pretty nicely. How could those Sheikah idiots miss this? I'm sure the milk was pure white when they first checked it. It took a whole day for the blood to dissolve in it. Either way, no matter how you slice it, this proves my theory right. Wait, I used to go... Oh, I've had it. Fine. You want to know why? You want to know why I really killed that scumbag? No, what are you? So you admit it? Yes, I admit it. What would you do if one day, after years of back-breaking labor, despite putting your all into the ranch, you were thrown away like rubbish, without any reason, fired? Farewell, we don't need you anymore.
You want to know how I got this scars?
But that doesn't make any sense. Don't lie, I heard it all. I was just returning back from another day of spine-wrenching work, and lo and behold, what's this? Malin Talon are talking behind my back. I heard it all. We'll let him go after the visitation. We can handle things without him. And so, after volunteering to work on that shipment, I quietly slip out while the girl was busy and shake the good-for-nothing slacker. You should have seen his face. He didn't expect it at all. So yes, Malin, I killed that lazy bum you called a father. And he deserved it. Order! The witness will cease his boasting over such a terrible deed. I think we've heard enough. Soldiers, take him away. Huh? Just wait a moment. Ingo. Yes, girl, you want to apologize for what you've done? Apologize me? You're horrible. We weren't planning to fire you at all. You completely misunderstood what we were saying. What? Flashback. Some of the... Well... You know how it goes with the royal visits. Always a busy time. Gotta make sure that everything's in tip-top shape. I do worry something about that old Ingo, though. He's been complaining about his back recently. You wish he'd take a step back and relax sometime? Do wish he'd take a back, sit, relax sometime. I don't know which one's it. Maybe we should convince him to take a vacation. Now that's an idea. It'd do him good to just get out for a while. I'll discuss it with him after the visitation. After things calm down, we can handle everything without him. Oh. That's... You were planning what? A vacation for me? And I did... No, it can't be so. Please say, isn't it so? Uh-oh. Death by Kuko. Big Kuko. We have witnessed today the results of a truly horrible misunderstanding. But misunderstanding or not, what you have done is unforgivable. Helen was a kind man, beloved by all who had good fortune to cross his path. His loss would not only be felt as rant, but all across Hyrule. The killer turned out to be an utterly pathetic man with delusions of grandeur. I mean, look at him! An utter idiot dressed like a clown. Ryan. Jeez, he's really laying into him. I bet he's just upset because he lost. The prosecutors ran aside. I think it's time to declare today's verdict. This is just a formality, but would the defendant please step up to the stand? Young miss, I'm very sorry for your situation you found yourself in. I'm very glad you appear to have such good attorney as a friend. I wouldn't have chosen anyone else. Aw, thanks. Now, without further ado, in the name of the goddess Hylia and the sacred land of Hyrule, I hereby found Malon of Lon Lon Ranch not guilty. Yay. Court is adjourned. We did it! I suppose so. I guess Ingo's outburst kind of soured the mood, huh? I don't think I could ever forgive Mr. Ingo for what he's done. That's fair enough, honestly. Really, though, you shouldn't think about that for now. You're free! It's time to celebrate! I guess you're right. Excellent work. I knew you pulled through. Oh, thanks. I couldn't have done without you, really. So, thank you. Now, that's not quite right. If you want to thank someone, I'm not the one who deserves it the most. Huh? Your Highness? I thought you were going back to Hyrule Castle. What strings did the Impa have to pull to get her here? But I realize I should apologize for what I did personally. It's an honor. There is no need to bow. Not what I've done. Really, if not for my status, I would probably have been carted off to prison alongside that angry little man. Perjury's, pretty serious, so that's probably not entirely wrong. As usual, you don't give yourself enough credit, Your Highness. How could you say that, Detective? I almost condemned an innocent person to prison. Yes, there are some things you should think twice about doing in the future. It's all thanks to you that the young lady over here finally went free. Huh? Come on, attorney, show Her Highness what I'm talking about. I'm an attorney! Take that! The bottle! Well, it's true. Without this, and without knowing about the fire, we've had any substantial proof on our claims. And really, your obviously false testimony helps a bit. Ouch! Emperor just stepped on my foot. Well, there you have it. In any case, I'm sure Miss Malin isn't too upset. Well, sure. Then, huh? We have orders to escort the princess back to the castle immediately. Just in time. Farewell, Your Highness. And so they left. Now, then listen to me. I know that I'm perhaps being too lenient on the princess, but tough times are ahead. The princess will need all the confidence she can get to lead the kingdom through them. She needs to learn to take responsibility for her actions too, though. And she will. Huh? Her Highness is in for a rather unpleasant afternoon today, I'd imagine. The urgency which she had just been escorted out of here isn't coincidental. What? Is the king going to scold her? At the very least. Now then, my duty calls, unfortunately, so I must be off. Again, you did well today, both of you. I trust that you'll be able to rely upon you in future court proceedings as well. I'll try my best. That's all I ask. That unpleasant prosecutor seems to be making his way over here, so I'll excuse myself post-haste. Farewell. Uh-oh. You. Hello, nice day we're having, isn't it? Tell me, now, where did that blasted detective go? To have my reputation tarnished this way by some novice attorney from the boonies. Booba. Dramatic much? He looks like he's about ready to burst from anger. Don't be such a sore loser. You lost, deal with it. Yeah, we got the right verdict. Doesn't that make you even a little bit glad? Yes, I suppose there is something worth in that. What transpired is most unfortunate. I can only offer my condolences. Just remember, that was the meddling of that idiotic princess and the stupidity of that blasted detective that led to your arrest. So if you have any grievances, take it up with them. I suppose there's some truth to what he's saying. Speaking of the detective, it appears that she fled from me like some cuckoo on fire. Mark my words, she will regret what she's done for generations. Well, that sure was something. Don't know if he was being sincere or just wanted to shift blame with someone else. I wouldn't say he's entirely blameless. What? People have to send their ID to YouTube? That's stupid. And no, not right now. Never mind that. Do you think you'll be alright running to the ranch all by yourself? Of course, I'll come to visit, but I'll have my attorney's duties too. I'll get in touch with the castle, see if they can spare some men to work at the ranch. As silly as my father may have been, he really did prepare me to take over one day and taught me well. I'll make sure the animals are well taken care for, just as it always has. That's the spirit. I believe in you. I really want to thank you for bringing the truth to light. If it wasn't for you, I don't even want to think about what would have happened. Don't mention it. I'm just glad everything worked out in the end. And so ended a very personal case for me. It felt like a weight had been lifted off my back. Malin continued to work at the ranch, hoping to make it prosper even beyond what her father was able to accomplish. I didn't really think much about it, but the days following was some of the happiest I've lived for a long time. Little did I know that terrible tragedy would soon shock the entire kingdom, and I find myself smack dab in the middle of it. But that's a legend for another day. Oh god. I think there is one more short case thing. But considering that still took me 2.5 hours, I'm okay with it ending right here. But I think there's like a small minor case that you can work on. Hey, what happened to the fairy grotto? Where is it? I mean, I know they had to make like new assets. I mean, they had to like make new like this and. But I mean, like well, I mean, ever since the decomp, you can do a lot with mods because you kind of know what you're doing with the game because you know how the game works. So like having this stuff is pretty all right. Okay, I've been wondering what the fuck is that? I have no idea what that is. I've been wondering. Have a good night, Sean. Yeah, I'm really impressed. Honestly, I am really impressed about all of this because it is like, oh yeah, no, you got the tone of Ace Attorney correct. Like, huh? OT NPC Maker. Cat. Yay, they did the NU. Yay. I think there's like a smaller like case. I'm not sure how long that thing. I mean, it's very easy. Scene select is now unlocked. Extra 1 is now unlocked. Okay. Meanwhile, somewhere else. Super talent. What? Ooh. Fucking using. I mean, he is Mario. Oh, I have to get there. I gotta get there very fast. We try to do Mario and Zelda. Wait, mushroom. Hold on. Oh no, that's the course clear. Well, I really need one of those things. In return, I'll tell you about a secret I've heard, supposedly. There's a game with a giant egg in which you can become a criminal. Yes. And a pair of games with climate change and time travel. So, yeah, it's Oracle of Ages, Oracle of Seasons, and Link's Awakening. They say that the extras can be unlocked by connecting them to the title screen using a certain accessory. Now, I don't know what that means, but I'm sure you can figure it out. See ya! Oh. Okay. Hey, you know one of the features of the Mister is? I think it's in my Game Boy Color one. Do I have it under L or do I have it of... we got Link's Awakening in DX. So let me try Seasons. So it's like link it and then go into the extras, right? Wait, hold on. At type. Wait. Oh, I accidentally reset. Hold on. Reset the game. Accidentally hit a thing. Transfer pack. Please hold it like this. Okay. Extra 2, Ingo's Casino. Oh. Yo! Three of a kind. So wait, how do I... Okay, card you pick. Okay, so Ganondorf, Tingle's at the top. When he gets all times 2. Then Ganondorf, Zelda, Link, Heart, Gold. Okay. The arrangement of the game's time, the first time building a right boss, composes a block of valve to continue it. So I started a second tip from scratch. I soon saw it wasn't as good. I found it's easier to think of ideas because it's more energetic than it did many ideas to get back to the first person, best of both. This section is based upon Great Fairy Fountain, Legend of Zelda's main theme. The title theme from the newest Super Mario Bros. Are from there, but the section based on Ganondorf's theme didn't make the cut. Also, yeah, you read that right. There's a newer Super Mario Bros. Wii reference near the end of the song if you haven't caught it. Something else you might not notice is that the harp near the end plays mostly the same notes as the piano from the game's title theme. Anyways, once the piece was written, important was the challenge since this was the first song to use more than the 16 tracks allowed by the game. In fact, it needed a lot more. The project filed for the final version had 54 tracks. At any moment in time, though, most of them aren't playing anything. So, to fit it, I decided to design a new music importing system that lets you mix and match different parts between the 16 tracks based on a big spreadsheet. This is very useful later for many of the complex songs written for the game, such as Confrontation Presto. Oh, shit. You gave me a full house game. I'll draw off. Fuck. Damn it. Oh shit, I can't do this until like... Fuck. No. Eh. One pair tingle high. I'm gonna pull these two. We'll just do one rupee. Three of a kind for tingle. You know, okay, two pair, but I have a tingle. Yeah, let's do it. Let's Gabba. Ah, no, shit. I probably could have capped. Four of a kind. Fuck off. I have tingle. I have tingle. But yeah. Okay, so. I'm just gonna... I really should put this... You know what? Hold on. I'm gonna redefine these N64 buttons. Just give me a second. Oh wait, this is not the buttons. I think what I'm looking for is some... Anyways, that was one of them. So, does it matter? Does it matter if it's the original version or if it's the or if it's a DX? I'll do this. And then we will reset and see what it does. Okay. Turnabout Thief. This case contains spoilers for Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. Progress through the story will overwrite your current progress to the main story of Hero Law. Continue. This case works best if Link is the thief in your Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time save file. Oh. June 6th. Oh, it's... Wait, no. Phew, made it in time, I guess. Still no clue on earth to call me hero in this such ungodly hour. You! Yes, me. I don't like being woken up at 2 a.m. either, believe me. I really hope that old fool has got a good explanation for this. Old fool? You mean the judge? Ah, I see you both already here. Splendid. I hope this wasn't too much of an inconvenience for you. That remains to be seen. What could have possibly be so important about this burglary case as to warrant this kind of urgency? Case? We're doing a trial? You mean haven't been told, defense? Oh dear, my apologies. I suppose I did order the soldiers not to tell anyone about what happened. They must have interpreted that bit too literally. But that's fine. Secrecy is paramount here. Yes, have an entire entourage of highly soldiers arriving at the Gerudo's fortress in the middle of the night was a pinnacle of stealth. No one knows. It's a secret to everyone. Wait a minute. Can't I just defend someone off the cuff like this? That'd be incredibly unfair to the defendant. Oh? Doubting your skills? As much as I'd like to agree with you, defense, we have no choice in the matter. The trial must happen this very moment. Well, get on with it then, old man. What's this about? Right, yes, of course. Let me start from the beginning. A few hours ago, I was finishing my daily ablutions when a great light appeared within my chambers. It was like nothing I'd seen before. The night literally became day before my eyes. And that wasn't all. People started to come out of the light. I was shaken with fear. One of these people claimed to be the goddess herself, Hylia. What? I know, believe me, I was so flabbergasted as you are. The goddess proceeded to explain that in another world, one of her chosen heroes had been severely punished for committing some terrible deed. She decided that someone else should be determined whether or not this punishment was just or not, to ensure her own biases would not come to reflect the outcome. And our world was chosen for the best candidate to make this judgment. Okay. Okay. This is a joke, right? There's no way any of this is true. This is insane. Yes, it seemed like the judge has completely lost his marbles. Clearly, his age has finally caught up to him. I'll be filing appropriate notices as I can. At very least, we can both be back to sleep quickly. That is true. Oh, I believe I know just the way to convince you two. Soldiers, please call in the defendant. The defendant? What the? It's defense. Defense! Oh, what happened? I don't have time to watch you pass out. Get yourself together. Oh, right. That's what happened. Well, defense, are you convinced now? Guess I can't deny it, can I? That's definitely me. Younger, wilder, perhaps? Sure enough. I guess so. Excellent. In that case, let us formally begin. This court is now in session for the trial of Thief of Coalit Island. Your Honor, you can't just declare him a thief from the get-go. No, of course not. I have his name written down right here. It seems I'm just unable to say it. Fascinating. A curse of sorts? I assume this is the punishment we decided is just or not. Just? How can this be just? To be forever called a thief by everyone? Even I can't say my own name anymore. As far as I'm concerned, it seems right to me. After all, everyone is just speaking the truth, are they not? The defense demands the prosecution abstain from claiming unproven statements. I firmly believe my client's innocent, of course. Oh, well, about that. I might have actually done it. Oh. Yes, her greatness is specified the defendant's guilt was non-negotiable. We are only here to determine whether or not the punishment he faced for it was reasonable. Now then, the prosecution, please give your opening statement. What? I don't even know anything about this case, old man. You only just called us in here, remember? You're the one with all the details, so go on. Get to it. Well, I suppose Actually, why don't we just let the victim describe what happened? He should be most accurate knowledge of events. It's gonna be Happy Mask Salesman. Must be some kind of nightmare. Every good lawyer knows you should never defend yourself, but does this count?
Hey, listen!
Yes, this is part... Oh my god, they just modeled him. Alright, who are you then? Hold on, I gotta... add out. So I'm assuming... So like... I mean, okay, so part of the story of Link's Awakening is that if you steal something from the shop, and you get away with it, the next time you come in, you'd be called thief. I'm wondering if all this does is overwrite a save. All right, who are you then? Yeah, myself, I own the tool shop back on Koholland. I do. The greatest shop in town it is, I tells ya. It's the only shop in town. Whoa, 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 whoa. Not so close, no touching. You don't know what could happen. The world could implode. I don't think the goddess would allow the whole thing if that were a real possibility. So watch if it's the only shop. There's no better in this world or the next. Never seen anyone complaining. Yes, whatever. Now tell us what happened. No. How did you let yourself get swindled so easily? I'll say it all. Just you watch me. I don't know why I'm going for Jamaican, but it's making me crazy. The Great Heist. Twas a normal day. I was tending to me cash register. And suddenly, this kid busts in. A green blur, I tells you. He grabs the nearest thing and runs behind myself. So I turn around. But he ain't there anymore. So I turn back to the entrance. Ay caramba, he's gone. Nowhere to be seen, I tells you. I can't inform me where it's going for free, you know? Or as cheap as possible. Why I oughta... Well, I suppose he already did pay the ultimate price. Why, what a descriptive terrace, I feel like if I was just there. Hold on, there's just one thing I'm confused about. Who was it that set this, curse or whatever it is on my client? It was me, of course. What kind of shopkeep would I be without some magic? I know how it looks, but this guy can literally shoot deadly energy beams. I would not underestimate him. Right, of course. Without further ado, please proceed with the cross-examination defense. You get many customers at your store on regular days like this? No, I can't say I do. Maybe it's supposed to be like Scottish. It's a small town, you know. Besides, I think lately the people have been spending their money on that blasted Trinity game. Oh, the 4-eyed scoundrel running around such an eyesore. Trinity game? It's a crane game that's also in town. 10 rupees per game. Pretty easy to win. Huh, there's something wrong if people prefer to literally gamble on a crane game than buy from this guy. A blur? Are you sure this is definitely my client? I swear on me mum. Couldn't be anyone else. It's a small town, you know. I know everyone there. No one else wears weird green dresses. Hey, this is my finest tunic. I fail to see how this matters in any case. Have you forgotten that your doppelganger's guild has already been established, defense? Forgotten? No, but I wish I could. What is it that was stolen anyways? Why does that matter? He stole something, that's that. No need to be getting into the nitty-gritty. As it happens, defense, the goddess herself forbade us from talking about this. She called it a technical limitation, whatever that means. What? But that's the most important question here! If it was something cheap, surely we can agree this punishment is too severe. It is what it is. I must ask you to drop this line of questioning. It's ridiculous. Oi, don't look so glum, chum. Here you go. This is a flyer of all my wares. This should give you an idea of what it might have been. Well, it's something at least. The court accepts this flyer into evidence. Oh yeah, I could probably do this. List of wares and call it to some bow, shovel, shear, arrows, bomb, heart. Profile. Thief, my kleptomaniac self from another world. Shopkeeper, victim of a crime, owner of the Koholland town tool shop. Don't know the age. Wanted? No can have. So I turned around. patrons could just freely go behind the counter like that? Nah, of course not. I don't have a counter. What? Customers have to hold their items while I ring them up. But wouldn't the register have to be on a counter or something similar? Well, yeah, I suppose, but it's only big enough for me to register, not for any products too. That's what I meant. I see. You got a problem? Who are you to criticize me for interior decorating? Best I have a little extra fluff as possible. Keeps customers' eyes on the wares, you see. Well, I can't deny there's some logic to that. Sure. But he ain't there anymore. Hi! Actually, that reminds me. I noticed that the wall behind me was starting to get moldy. That stray thought distracted me for a split second, you see. Stop joke. I'm kind of skit. So I turned back to the engine. Let me guess, he wasn't there either. As if I live. That slimy rope. Your establishment doesn't exactly have the tightest security, does it? I never needed any. Everyone in town trusts everyone else. Everyone's shocked when I told them. I tells you, shocked. I do have to ask, why did you need to steal from the store anyway? Exactly. Well, you see... Shifty eye. I really need one of the things in there. Yes, that's what paying is for. I was shipwrecked. I wasn't exactly swimming in rupees. Defense, do you have an actual question for the witness? Then let us move on. Continue, shopkeeper. What does that mean? Oh, that's right. This guy literally killed me when I went back into the store. What? No, if you're going to make up a lie, at least make it believable. It's not a lie, it's true. How are you here then? I don't know. Got undone somehow. One moment I'm getting fried, and then poof! I'm back at the doorstep and the guy's just smiling at me creepily. Surely death is enough punishment for theft. This all sounds very hard to believe, defendant. Well, what did the witness mean by the ultimate price then? Oh, why, I just meant the curse I set upon him, didn't I? Yes, that was it. Perfectly sensible. Okay, I'm starting to get goosebumps, but surely that is all there is to it. Well, that's quite the testimony. If you say so, you're the lawyer here, whatever that means. Wait, are you saying there's no lawyers in your world? At all? I don't think there are. How weird. I can't imagine how that would even work. Anyways, best stay on track. I don't have too much work here, so I should keep pressing for more details. Okay, so... you got everything. What the fuck would it want me to? Well, I guess it's this. Because the bow isn't cheap. Cheap, you say? That's not quite true now, is it? Whatever do you mean, defense? Your Honor, if you look back at the flyer the witnesses graciously provided with us, do any of these items seem like a bargain to you? Well, let's see. Goodness gracious! 980 rupees for a simple bow? Why, that's more than I get paid in... No, just you wait a booming second. All the villagers be happy with me shop. No one's ever complained, you know. Is that so, witness? Tell me, how many customers do you get each day? That's not important. It's all because of that blasted trendy game. Not me folks play with that stupid crane. I will agree that the prices are a bit inflated. So what? What do you mean, so what? My other self needed to survive somehow, and the prices were entirely unreasonable. I was shipwrecked. It would have taken me months to get that kind of money. Yes. Given a survival scenario, I suppose that explains the defective's motive at the very least. Indeed, he didn't just steal out of malice or with profit in mind. It was a life or death situation. Life or death, you say? Tell me, which one of the items listed in that flyer is necessary for survival precisely? Well, for instance... Exactly. Maybe with the recovery hearts, 10 rupees is way too much for those. Oh, I agree. That's a terrible deal, given they could just get them by cutting some grass. Yeah. Oh. Yes, everything is that store carried. What my need for survival could have easily been obtained elsewhere. The defendant has no pressing need to steal anything. Prosecution makes a valid point. There's no food or water listed among the wares after all. I wasn't just trying to survive, I was trying to leave the island. Leave the island? Bah! And how would you do that using this set of items, pray tell? Were you planning to paddle off the island with a shovel? No, not directly like that. The island cannot be escaped by normal means. I need them to wake the windfish. You know, when you just put it like that... What? The heck is a windfish? I'm not sure. Right. So you knew it needed to be awakened because an owl told me. Are you trying not to make sense at this point? Perhaps I can shed some light on this particular matter. Yow. By Jove, is that a talking owl? Ooh. It felt like I was needed, and so I came. You'd be wise not to scoff at what your counterpart is telling you. So you mean... Yes, of course. Everything the brave young lad has said is true. He is on a special quest, and the Colonet's no regular island after all. If you allow me, I can explain everything. Hoot hoot. Think the goddesses... Finally, someone will actually explain something. What utter nonsense! I ejected the presence of this animal in my courtroom. No way I'm going to listen to the testimony from an owl. Oh, so you accepted everything else happening here, but not this. The defense demands the right to cross-examine the bird. Out of all the boneheaded, stupid... Order. Allow me to share my opinion on this matter. Given the situation at hand, I see nothing wrong with allowing a bird to testify, unusual as it may be. Mr. Owl, please tell me all we need to know about the nature of Colonet Island. Cool. Hoot. Colonet's very existence, the very essence, Hoot, is tied to the windfish's slumber. As long as the windfish sleeps, the island cannot be escaped, like a terrible nightmare. The young swordbearer must, thus, search for the 8 instruments of the sirens, and play the ballad that will wake the Great One. Hoot. With the instruments all united, the Windfish slumber shall come to an end, and so shall Koholint. That didn't explain anything either. Just like I said, listening to this bird was a waste of time. Perhaps that was not as clear as I hoped. Do forgive me. Over-mystifying is a bit of an occupational hazard for our kind. What occupation? Professional owl? Please, if you have any questions, I will happily answer. Hoot hoo. Oh, well, the witness seems to be all but begging to be cross-examined. Defense, please go right ahead. Hoot. Alright. Well... Let's start with the Dodongo in the room. What the heck is a windfish? The Dodongo? No, young counselor. You must be confused, Hoot. The windfish, the Leviathan, is a huge whale. As far as Koholint is concerned, it has always been. As long as Koholint is, it will always be. Right, the deity will. Bring up the fact that whales are not fish, but at this point I don't think it really matters. What would happen if you did try? Well, why couldn't you just build a raft and try to sail away? Truthfully, I do not know. Perhaps, no matter how long you sail, the island would just never fade from view. The sea would never end, like an infinite staircase, until you turn around and found yourself back to where you started in no time. Why don't you just backwards long drop across the sea? Maybe then you could escape from Koholint Island. Or perhaps you would just die. You think that's a possibility? I admit, I thought about trying that a few times. Ooh, there's but one way to escape. Well, how does one attain these elusive instruments exactly? Ooh, that is no simple task, to be sure. The instruments of the sirens sleep deep within temples scattered across the land. Fraught with monsters, traps, and other dangers. At the end of each, a formidable foul guardian guarding a piece. Yes, Hoot, to obtain all the instruments of yore is to slay all those who corrupt the island from within. Slaying foes, this sounds like some sort of kind of mass murder spree. It appears... Yes, it appears that our worlds may differ from each other, more significantly than I thought. I cannot feel him here. How strange. What in Din's name are you blabbering about now, you feathered menace? In our land, since the very beginning of time, an evil influence has permeated all. The King of Evil, the Demon Lord, Ganon. From the very dirt of the earth, to even the first thoughts of an infant. If you dig deep enough, if you look closely enough, you will find his malice and hatred. The King of Evil, Ganon! So you noticed too. Could it just be a coincidence? Naturally, when I speak of vanquishing foes, I speak of his creations. Deeply rooted in the most primordial evil, those foul beasts' only goals are for their own survival and for the misery of others. Who no being that would have touched by Hylia's grace would object to their destruction. It is innate to our nature as breathing. And yet, here is a world without him. Is your world lucky to have been spared, or has ours been particularly unlucky? That I do not know. Perhaps this is even the very reason her grace has chosen this world to send to us. To send us to. Do you have any idea what this is about? I think I do, actually. Really? I don't think it really matters for what we're talking about, though. Right. Can we get back to the matter at hand, then? Why, hoot, of course. I was just musing absurd. Aloud. Loud. Right, and I don't suppose making any noise, making noise any other way would suffice. You know, just screaming into its ear or something. Hoot, 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 hoot. Of course not, my dear counselor. The Windfish sleep is not natural. A magical slumber like that can only be broken via magical means. Right, but what do you mean by that last part? Will something happen to Koholint when the Windfish awakes? Koholint Island is a magical place born of the Windfish's slumber. Once the Leviathan awakens, the magic keeping Koholint in place will dissipate. You mean... Of course. When the Windfish wakes, Koholint will disappear, and Neria's Neria's sight shall remain. What? Did you know about this? Well, truth be told, I suspected. Ah, clever lad. Who? Yes, surely you've noticed. The only shop in town selling nothing but tools and equipment, shopkeepers with magical powers, village of talking animals. Koholint as a whole is unnatural. It is a place made of dreams and nightmares. Villages of talking animals, I must have missed that part. Well, what about the inhabitants then? Where they go when the island disappears? Where indeed? After all we've heard here, I think one thing's been made clear. My client truly found himself in a life-or-death situation. The testimony fully corroborates that. On top of that, to escape the island, he had to go on a life-threatening quest. In order to survive this ordeal, he needed to be well-equipped as possible. And the only way to get the needed equipment was from the store, which was charging exorbitant prices. These are all clearly mitigating factors. And with that in mind, the defense asserts his punishment is far too severe. Indeed. This does paint the defendant in a more positive light. It appears that the theft might have been necessary given his situation. Yes, that was easier than I thought, and it's still early enough to go back to sleep. The hour always used to annoy me a little, but when it comes to my rescue this time, hasn't it? I'm the only here to help, lad. I feel there's no need to further prolong this trial. While this court does not condemn the defendant's acts in of itself, I do believe that he has been punished too harshly for it. And so the court finds the defendant... What the fuck now? Old man, surely you don't mean to tell me that you've woken me in the dead of night just to make a farce out of this trial. Farce? But Mr. Dragmire, the defense has just presented a rather compelling argument. Compelling? Don't make me laugh. Yes, he had a reason to do what he did. All criminals have reasons. That's no justification. It wasn't just any reason. Survival was at stake here. Was it, though? You, Bird Brain. Woohoo? Yes, what is it? You said the defendant was to go visit a bunch of dusty old temples in search for the instruments. Tell me, were those instruments the only things in there? Hoot? No, I suppose they were not, Hoot. With structures as old as these, you're bound to find things left by previous inhabitants. Why, Hoot, yes, I'm sure there would have been lots of treasure left in there, too. Treasure, money, all of that was in the brat's grasp. He could have easily gotten funds to properly purchase the item he stole with only a little legwork. Wait a moment, it wouldn't be that easy. This place was full of monsters and traps. Without any equipment, it would be too dangerous to go alone. Oh, how quickly you forgot it, Defense. Trying to recall his flying menace's words just a few moments ago. The young sword bearer must thus search for the 8 instruments and play the ballad that would awaken the Great One. Ah! Our little kleptomaniac had a perfectly good sword with him. He wasn't barehanded at all. No, all he has to do was look for some kind of easy shortcut to get out of his predicament. Or maybe the little snake just wanted to keep all the treasure for himself. How dare you? I'm not some greedy treasure hoarder. Either way, the defendant might have not had a reason for his theft, but that's not the reason. Was likely nothing but selfishness. I might not have to do the thing. Oot, oot. He wanted to keep the treasure. Now, barrister. That's not entirely remotely possible. All of the treasure, as part of Colent, would naturally disappear with it. But that doesn't mean anything. The truck might not have known that. Oh, come on, just admit you're wrong. Now this is quite the pickle indeed. Brodsky's have brought up some good points, but so has the defense. Furthermore, it seems like we'll be out of testimony to discuss at this point. This will be a hard decision to make. Actually, that reminds me. There was something you kept bringing up in your testimony, Mr. Witness. Oop. Yes, what is it? You often mention that Koholint is like a dream or a nightmare. How literal is that? What are you going on about now? Of course it's not actually. Oh no, it very much is. What? I thought the point was clear. My apologies. Koholint only exists within a dream. We are in a dream right now too, in fact. Oh my, this old drama isn't real? I should have known. This whole thing was just way too fantastical. Well then, now that we've made that clear, I'm just going to go and wake up, if you don't mind. Boy, that might be the wisest thing you proposed so far, Defense. Of course, it's not going to be you waking up. I'm the only real person here. I haven't the slightest idea how my mind conjured up this nonsense. Should have had the noble pursuit before bed. Oh, I suppose it wouldn't be the first time I've dreamt of the courtroom. It's never this quite vivid, but I guess the old man still this old man still has quite the active imagination. Meanwhile, my imagination is being a bit overreactive right now. I guess I haven't had any noble pursuit. Please wait! Huh? You can't just wake up. What about me? What about you? You're clearly just an invention of my mind, brat. Hey, you want a resolution? No problem. Judge, declare a guilty verdict right now. Prosecutor Dragmeyer, I refuse to hand down a faulty verdict, even in my dreams. No, this won't do. I will just have to wake up now. Here goes. Strange. I don't seem to be able to. If I may interject, I have said this is a dream, yes. But why would that mean that nothing here is real? Oh, be quiet, you pile of feathers. I'll banish you from my dream. Be gone! What? What is this? Am I stuck in this nightmare? It's a coma dream. Well, naturally, only one person here is actually control of the dream. Everyone is just along for the ride, so to speak. Are you saying everyone here is actually real, just sharing the same dream? Why, of course. Her Grace chose one person to be the host and then thrust the others into it. Preposterous! If this isn't all the Green Brat's dream, then why does he remove his curse on his own? Preposterous? Not at all, my angry Gerudo friend. I never said he's the one in charge. He came from the dream world of Colent, after all. Well, how did he wind up in someone else's dream, then, you blasted buzzard? Having battled with Ganon before, he is particularly interested to the Demon Lord. The Evil One saw an opportunity and forcefully shoved him into a dream of the Windfish, a dreamscape he's been steadily perverting with his evil for many years. He infested it with his own creation, twisted it into a dangerous place, but imprisoning its creator within. As a result, that is also why our green-clad friend cannot wake up normally. But this world is free of Ganon. Whoever the host of this dream is could indeed just wake. Although I cannot imagine Goddess Hylia will be thrilled with that conclusion, having made all that effort to bring her chosen hero here. How did you know all of this? Why, isn't it obvious? I myself is part of the Windfish's spirit. I could not just stand idly by when Hylia's own champion was dealt with such a bad hand. And so, I've tried to lead you to the 8 instruments and reach out to Hylia for help with this predicament. I can hardly believe it. Well, who is it then? Who is the one controlling this stream? It's the player. Oot. That I do not know. That is something you'll have to find out for yourself. Whoever it is will have the final word in this trial. So that's it then. It all hinges on this point. Who is this stream's Windfish? I must consider all the facts. Who is the one that Her Grace Hylia chose to control this stream? Could it be one of these people? No, they could. And thank you, Bell People, for the follow. Hello, Bruce. Both Dragmire and the judge have already conclusively proven they're not the host of this stream. Who does that leave? Maybe one of them, the Owl Shopkeeper, not them at all. They're both part of the dream. Cannot be the Owl Shopkeeper. They each have the end of the trial in their favor by now if they were in control. And I already know that Thief isn't the one in control, so who does that leave? I am the host!
Sava isn't cool anymore.
Ish.
Feels bad, man.
That's it. There's no doubt about it. I should wake up. Well, what are you looking so smug about? Isn't it obvious? I just realized who must be the one controlling this stream. No, it can't be. I see you realize it now too. Oh my, you mean you're the one? Well, let's give it a try, shall we? What are you? Hello, everyone. Aw, yeah, now this stream's getting good. Marin? The Fitz, what did you do to the prosecutor Dragmire? Nothing bad, of course. I just ejected him out of here. He's probably waking up rather abruptly right about now. I decided it'd be nice to have someone who's more pleasant to deal with on the opposing side. The prosecution has nothing more to add. The defense is totally innocent. I won't stand for this. You can't just give yourself an easier opponent. That's a shame. Wait, who'll give a verdict now? I know of one good candidate. Huh? Well, I see no reason to prolong this trial. Will the defendant please step up to the stand? Is this really okay? I thought the goddess wanted a fair trial. Actually, she requested no such thing. What? The way the judge put it, the only stipulation was that someone else decides your fate. At no point did she specify how the decision should be made or how many people should be making it. That still feels like cheating. Well, there's one easy way to find out if it's allowed or not. This court finds the defendant. Wait, I'm not having this. My product was still stolen, you know. What kind of justice is... Fuck off. Don't interrupt me. Now then, once again, the court finds the defendant... not guilty. So let's see, your name is Link. Oh, it's the same. Of course our names. I'm not sure why you're surprised. In any case, I believe you should be getting back to your own world now. And no more stealing, you hear? Of course not. Never again. Glad to hear that. Best of luck on your quest. And with that, court is adjourned. Link Legal Agency, Kakariko. What? Where? The office? That's right, I stayed to catch up on work. I guess I must have fallen asleep reading the case files. Man, what a crazy dream, though. What? What was it about again? I was in court, and then... darn, it's gone already. Can't remember a single thing. Oh, well. So I'm gonna guess that if you had a thief file, then it takes away the thief. Which is actually pretty neat. Alright, let's check the last one. I think we have... I think I did Oracle of that, so do that. Not... I need to reset... I need to do a separate set of buttons for the menu. Last one. That's a bit. Oh, is it just that? Those two? Seems just to be those two. Let me try ages. Yep, okay. I'm glad that was only a single stream. Like, that is actually a really fucking cool ROM hack. Like, I made sure to kind of keep myself, like, unspoiled for this, so, like, there's things that you can take. Like, oh, I know, like, odds are you're the villain, or this, that, and thing stuff. Yeah, I'm assuming there's a way on, like, RetroArch or something else to do the exact same thing. Because I can't see them not being able to do that, but, like, the fact that if you have a transfer pack and you have a Zelda save file, and you know how to do all of that, which, thankfully, the Mr. Core just has that shit. That's great. So yeah, tomorrow gets to be Banjo-Kazooie. And I'm thinking that next week, I'm bouncing back and forth between the two games, like both Hacker's Memory and Banjo-Kazooie. And I also have, like, something to do in the middle of the week, so that one stream might not happen, or it will happen earlier in the day, specifically, like the Tuesday stream, because I know that's probably going to be the Gamescom thing. Like another Jeff Keighley summer night out, so I get to be bored for like 2 hours watching Keighley just trot out all the sloppa. But mostly because I have to wake up early on Wednesday. We'll get to that. Let me... Manuel's still playing something. I'm gonna probably go to sleep because I only got like a few hours of non-continuous sleep last night. So, but yeah, thank you guys for coming out tonight. Stay safe. We'll see you guys tomorrow night for Banjo-Kazooie. Have a good night.